Chapter 205. I'm not studying psychology, but I think that since that man has already cheated on you, it's fine if you don't want him. You can always wait for someone who treats you wholeheartedly. The key is to be willing to give up, the man said. Thank you, I have a call. I'll hang up first. Baya hung up the phone. She looked at the caller ID of Gu Lingqing and didn't answer. When people are impulsive, angry, wronged, or angry, it's best to calm down for 5 minutes. Sometimes, sharp words will only make the other party sad, and when the other party is sad, you might not feel better. Especially when the other party is your family, friend, colleague, boss, or lover. Gu Lingqing called again, and Baya only answered it. Where are you? Gu Lingqing asked, sounding a little tired. Baya thought, when this man used up all his strength and patience on other women. If she lost her strength and patience, what was the use of throwing a tantrum? The other party will feel annoyed, feel that she has nothing good about her, and see her as painful. It's human nature to avoid pain and pursue happiness. More importantly, when a girl loses her temper, it's to make a guy change and care. He won't change, and he won't care. Then, she will hurt herself when she loses her temper. I'm outside, I have something to deal with, Baya said lightly. Okay, see you tomorrow. Baya twitched the corner of her mouth. He's not even willing to talk. He didn't ask what she is dealing with and if she needs help. Heh. Men are the most heartless animals. No one can compare. I'm hanging up, Baya said softly. She hung up the phone, turned it off, and lay on the bed. The clearer it was, the more she knew everything. But in fact, the more painful it was. She knew that she couldn't sleep. No one loved her, so she had to cherish herself. She took out the medicine from her bag, took it, and lay on the bed. When she woke up the next day, she had a splitting headache, a dry throat, and her eyes hurt so much that she couldn't open them. She seemed to have a serious fever. She looked at her phone. It was already 10 o'clock. She got up from the bed, wobbling as if she was stepping on cotton. After brushing her teeth and washing up, she took a taxi to the nearby hospital. When she got out of the car, she saw Gu Lingqing's car pass her. He got out of the car and opened the passenger door. He carried a girl out and walked towards the hospital. She sat in the taxi and stared at Gu Lingqing's disappearing figure. If she wasn't his wife, if they were strangers, or if he didn't agree to marry her, she wouldn't be as sad as she was now. As long as she thought about how similar scenes would appear in her future married life, she felt like she was in purgatory. Just thinking about it made her tremble all over. She did not want such a life. She dug out her phone from her bag, her hands trembling. Beauty, do you want to get off? The driver asked. Let's go to the First People's Hospital, Baya said to the driver. The driver drove to the First People's Hospital. Baya dialed Su Jiaron's number. Today is the second day of my marriage with Gu Lingqing. Do you have any way to help me cancel the marriage? I don't want to marry him. Yes, your marriage information with him hasn't been entered into the computer. As long as you steal the marriage certificate now, you won't be married. You won't be able to find any information about your marriage. Also, I have to tell you that he didn't use the military certificate to marry you. So, your marriage is considered a normal one. It's easy to deal with, Su Jiaron said with a smile on his face. His eyes were full of smiles. This time, Gu Lingqing was really out of the game. Okay, thank you, Baya said weakly as she had a fever. Just treat me to a meal. Baya, you already owe me 2 meals. Okay. The most important thing is to get the marriage certificate as soon as possible, Su Jiaron reminded her. Okay. Baya hung up the phone. She was about to faint. She was afraid that she wouldn't be able to hold on when she went to the hospital to register. She saw a private clinic. Just drop me off in front. Baya took out 50 yuan and passed it to the driver. Keep the change. Thank you. She staggered towards the clinic and asked the doctor to prepare some medicine and powder. Please find a nurse to help me change the bandage. The doctor saw that he was an expert. Anyway, it wouldn't affect his money, so he agreed. Baya lay on the bed and fainted. When she wanted to come over, it was already 3 hours later. Her wound was covered with medicine and the nurse bandaged it. The medicine was also ready. Hello, madam. Your phone has been ringing a few times, the nurse reminded her with a smile. The service of a private clinic was really good. Thank you. Baya got up from the bed. She was still a little dizzy. It seemed that she had to come over tomorrow. She took out her phone from her bag and saw that it was Gu Lingqing's call. She called him back. When are you coming back? Gu Lingqing asked directly. 1 hour. Get the soldiers to pick me up at the door. Otherwise I might not be able to come in, Baya said calmly. Okay. Baya put on exquisite makeup in the private clinic. She covered up her haggard and serious illness without a trace. She called back. The person who picked her up at the door was Gu Lingqing. She looked at the tall and strong man in front of her coldly. On the first day of their marriage, he brought a woman to the hotel. On the second day of their marriage, he brought a woman to the hospital. It was very ironic that she was in the same hotel as him. She went to the same hospital as him. The difference was that they were showing off their love, while she was alone. It was impossible to say that she wasn't sad. It was also impossible to say that she didn't feel heartache. Sadness and heartache were useless in front of a heartless man. It was easier to give up. She didn't want to live another 3 years of purgatory of marriage. In another 3 years, she would be 30. All her youth would be wasted. Baya got into Gu Lingqing's car. She didn't mention a word about what happened yesterday and this morning. Gu Lingqing didn't ask about her either. Where's our marriage certificate? Where did you put it? Baya looked ahead and asked casually. In the bedside cabinet. What's wrong? Gu Lingqing asked and looked at her. Baya raised a coquettish smile at him. There was sarcasm, determination, sorrow, and relief in her eyes. Nothing. I was just asking. Okay. Have you eaten? Gu Lingqing asked. She thought of the takeout that he and the girl ordered in the middle of the night. She felt disgusted to eat with him. She didn't have dinner yesterday. She didn't have breakfast this morning. She didn't have lunch either. However, she didn't want to eat with him. She didn't want him to watch her eat. I've eaten. I've arranged the meeting at 4 in the afternoon. I've prepared the information. You can take a look before the meeting. Yes, Baya responded indifferently. She just wanted to get the marriage certificate and destroy it. Gu Lingqing looked at Baya and held her hand. Baya seemed to have been electrocuted. She frowned and pulled her hand out with intense emotions. She looked at him defensively. Chapter 206. What's wrong? Baya narrowed his eyes and looked at Gu Lingqing. This man was very shrewd. There was nothing strange on his unchanging face. He hugged another woman yesterday and stayed up late into the night with another woman. Did he not feel guilty or uneasy towards her? Or did he think that he was a high and mighty king and that any love he gave to a woman was charity? So there was no need to feel guilty or explain. She couldn't understand him, she couldn't understand him, she couldn't see through him. He had never wanted her to walk into his heart. He never cried for her, even when she almost died. But he cried tears of excitement for that girl and his lips left marks on her face. Forget it, forget it, forget it. It's nothing. Something happened recently and I'm not in a good mood. I hope it won't affect you, Baya said with a smile. Gu Lingqing frowned. Do you have to be so sarcastic to me? We're husband and wife. Maybe you don't know me. I've always been weird, cold, indifferent, mean to people, and unfriendly to people. From the first day you met me, you knew I was like this. If you want a divorce, it's still not too late. The Civil Affairs Bureau hasn't registered our letters yet. Sigh, Baya said lazily. You want a divorce, right? Gu Lingqing raised his voice. Baya suddenly felt that it was funny, so she really laughed. He was the one who wanted a divorce now. In the end, he cleared all his mistakes. Whatever, she didn't care. It was fine as long as she could be free. Baya looked at him. Let's talk after the meeting. Gu Lingqing ordered. His face was pale and he gripped the steering wheel tightly. He used so much strength that his nails turned white. Baya looked at his hand indifferently. Was he angry? Was it because of her arrogance or because of his guilt? In fact, in her eyes, he had no right to be angry. Talk after the meeting? Was he afraid that she wouldn't work for him after the divorce? Don't worry, I'm clear about my work, Baya said meaningfully. Gu Lingqing pursed his lips and said nothing. Soon, they arrived at his residence. Baya got out of the car and walked in. He turned around and looked at Gu Lingqing. His cell phone rang. He glanced at her, and the panic in his eyes was caught by Bai Ya. The corners of Bai Ya's mouth curled up slightly. She turned around and walked into the room. Gu Lingqing went outside to answer the call. Hailon, what's wrong? Lingqing, I'm so scared. Where are you? Zhou Hailon cried. I'll send someone to accompany you later. I have something to do here. Don't you want me anymore? I'm so ugly now. I know I don't deserve you. Don't come any closer, Zhou Hailon screamed. Gu Lingqing heard the sound of things smashing on the other side of the phone and hung up. Gu Lingqing furrowed his brows and looked at his room. Bai Ya was standing at the window, looking at him with a smile. She saw his worry, heartache, pity, and the tenderness in his words. A flash of guilt flashed across Gu Lingqing's eyes, and then reappeared in his deep and distant eyes. Bai Ya closed the curtains and took out the 2 marriage certificates from the drawer of the bedside table. She opened them. Bai Ya was smiling happily on the marriage certificate, just like a flower. Silly, Bai Ya said softly. She tore the 2 marriage certificates and threw them into the toilet, flushing them away. Her state of mind gradually calmed down. She was in no position to blame him now, nor was she in any position to be sad. That was good. When Bai Ya came out of the washroom, Gu Lingqing opened the door and came in. Well, I've already arranged the meeting in the afternoon. I have something to do, so I need to go out for a while, Gu Lingqing said with a twinkle in his eyes. Bai Ya smiled. Will you be back tonight? I'll be back a little late, Gu Lingqing said with a frown. I've taken up 5 minutes of your time. Do you know where I was yesterday? Gu Lingqing was silent for a moment. Although we're married, you still have relative freedom. I believe you won't go overboard. Relative freedom? Bai Ya nodded. Gu Lingqing's words were very good. What he meant was that as his wife, she should give him relative freedom. I was in room 2110 of the 9 States Interstellar Hotel after 9 o'clock last night. You might not know where room 2110 is. To be exact, it's opposite room 2108, Bai Ya said with a smile. Finally, a crack appeared in Gu Lingqing's deep eyes, which seemed to stretch as far as the eye could see. I was at the entrance of the Second People's Hospital at 10:30 in the morning. You went to the hospital at the same time, right? Bai Ya continued. You followed me? Gu Lingqing frowned and looked at Bai Ya in disbelief. She didn't know if she was following him. If he thought that she was following him, then so be it. Who's that girl? Bai Ya asked curiously. Hailon and I aren't like what you think, Gu Lingqing explained. Oh, Zhou Hailon isn't dead. Bai Ya understood. It turned out that the girl he had always loved was back. Although they were no longer considered to be married, her heart still ached terribly. Her love for him wasn't fake. Her 3 years of watching over him wasn't fake. Her stubborn marriage was sincere. Let's hurt one last time. Tears flowed out uncontrollably. Gu Lingqing frowned. We didn't do anything yesterday. She fainted and had a serious phobia. She even cut herself with a knife early in the morning. That's why I sent her to the hospital. Bai Ya cried quietly. She fainted too. She also had a serious mental illness. She was also injured. However, he accompanied other women, while she was alone. Gu Lingqing, I don't need a man to take care of me. I can still live well. She needs you to take care of her. Otherwise, she won't be able to survive. Go take care of her. But, I will never, ever forgive you. Bai Ya picked up the suitcase, opened it, and put the clothes into the suitcase. Seeing that she was leaving, Gu Lingqing pulled her up impulsively. He used too much force and tore her wound. Bai Ya could feel the warm liquid flowing down her skin. Fortunately, the dark clothes covered the blood. What are you talking about? I'm responsible for her. She became like this because of me. It's not what you think, Gu Lingqing explained. His chest was heaving violently. Zhou Hailon became mentally ill because of him. What about her? She became mentally ill because she was cheap. Because her heart wasn't controlled by reason. So she deserved to be hurt and couldn't bear it. Chapter 207. Gu Lingqing was completely shocked. You're saying that I raped you? There's a child between us? The child is already dead, Baya said coldly. You! Gu Lingqing felt as if he had been struck by lightning. It took him a long time to recover from his shock. Why didn't you tell me? Did you tell me that Zhou Hailan is still alive? Did you tell me that you accompanied Zhou Hailan until the middle of the night? Did you tell me that you accompanied her to the hospital? Baya complained loudly. Suddenly, she felt bored. They had already broken up. Still trying to trample on each other was the most childish behavior. It hurt others without benefiting oneself. She calmed herself down. It doesn't matter now. I've already cancelled the registration with the Civil Affairs Bureau. I've also torn up the marriage certificate. You and I are both single now. Go take care of her. What did you say? Gu Lingqing's heart tightened. It was the first time he lost control. He held her arm tightly. The force was so strong that it almost broke her hand. Who gave you this right? Did I agree to the divorce? Baya pulled her hand with all her might. We're not divorced. It's just the fact that we're not married. That's nonsense. Gu Lingqing let go of her hand. Due to inertia, Baya fell heavily on the ground. She felt dizzy for a moment and almost fainted. She used all her strength to support herself and looked at Gu Lingqing bitterly. He hugged and hugged other women, but he pushed and hit her. A man could be so heartless. Gu Lingqing's heart tightened. It was more painful than seeing himself fall. He went forward to help her. Baya pushed his hand away. Gu Lingqing felt that his palm was a little sticky. He took a look and saw that it was all red blood. His heart ached as he looked at Baya. What's wrong with you? Baya stood up on her own. Gu Lingqing shouted towards the outside. Get the doctor here. Calling you a doctor? Are you trying to make Lu Shuang worry? Or are you trying to make Su Shaoling laugh at me? Baya snapped. Let's stop arguing, okay? I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to worry. I'll take care of Zhou Hailan, Gu Lingqing promised. Gu Lingqing, don't live for your responsibilities. You should live for yourself. I quit. Take good care of Zhou Hailan. Don't let your half-heartedness hurt her again. Your responsibilities have hurt too many people. Ha! Baya smiled and helped her up. Li. Gu Lingqing held her arm, her eyes misty. Don't go. Baya squinted at him. Arrange a place for me to stay. I've said that it won't affect my work. If you think that I'm not suitable to work here, you can tell me. Gu Lingqing didn't want her to move out. Do you have to be stubborn with me? Baya pushed his hand away. I'm not being stubborn with you. I'm just disappointed in you. I'm sorry, Mr. Gu, but I don't have the confidence to live with you. I have another shortcoming, which is that I'm very stingy. I can't tolerate even a grain of sand in my eyes. I really mind my husband taking care of other women. Because I don't like it, be it responsibility or love. Gu Lingqing let go of her hand. His eyes were deep and bottomless. He opened the door and ordered the orderly. I'll clean up the west courtyard for Ms. Bai to live in. Oh yes. The orderly saw that the chief looked terrible, then looked at Baya. She didn't look good either, so she left with her head down. Gu Lingqing looked at her. You can rest here now. You're a doctor, so you should know what medicine you need. Write it down for me. I'll go to the infirmary to get it for you. Baya indeed didn't have the energy to go out again. She neatly wrote the list to Gu Lingqing. You can rest in the guest room first, Gu Lingqing said as he took the list. Baya nodded, turned around, and walked towards the guest room. Gu Lingqing clenched his fists so tightly that the veins on the back of his hands were popping out. He deliberately said Ms. Bai, guest room, but she didn't feel anything. Was he out of the game? Gu Lingqing threw the vase on the coffee table to the ground. His eyes were bloodshot. He went out and made a call. Give me the phone number of the chief of the Civil Affairs Bureau within a minute. Lieutenant Colonel Song gave Gu Lingqing the number of the chief of the Civil Affairs Bureau within a minute. Gu Lingqing called, and his tone was very bad. I'm Gu Lingqing from the Special Forces. My wife and I got married here yesterday morning. My wife said that you won't record it. What does that mean? Is it negligence on the part of the Civil Affairs Bureau, or do you treat marriage as a joke? Oh, it's like this. Usually, people who get married yesterday will be recorded in the file at least a week later. I'll go check, the chief of the Civil Affairs Bureau reported. Give me an answer in 3 minutes. I want to record it now, Gu Lingqing said angrily. He went to the infirmary with a cold face. Su Xiaoling saw Gu Lingqing coming over. She stood up and looked at him affectionately. Gu Lingqing didn't even look at her. He passed the list to Lu Shuang and said in a low voice, "Help me get these medicines." Su Xiaoling's eyes dimmed again. She sat on the chair, took out the resignation letter from the drawer, and handed it to Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing looked at Su Xiaoling coldly. "I don't think there's any need for me to stay here," Su Xiaoling said, and looked at Gu Lingqing's face. He was still expressionless. "Go and hand the resignation letter to your direct leader. He will handle it. You can leave after you hand it in." Su Xiaoling didn't hear any intention to persuade him to stay. She was completely desperate. The man she had waited for more than 10 years was too heartless. He had never given her any hope. "Gu Lingqing, I curse you to never get the woman you love," Su Xiaoling said coldly. She passed by Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing's face looked even worse. He clenched his fists tightly. Lu Shuang was also afraid of Gu Lingqing. He gave him the medicine without hesitation. She felt that it was good for Bai Ya to be liked by another man. "Gu Lingqing, forget it." He took the medicine and turned to go out. His phone rang. He saw it was the director of the Civil Affairs Bureau and immediately answered. "What's the matter?" Gu Lingqing asked anxiously. "Well, I'm sorry, Chief. Our staff missed your marriage information. Can you and your wife come back again to make it up?" The director said in a trembling voice. "What? You missed the information list. Can't it be recorded without this? There seems to be something wrong with the computer. I can't find the scanned copy of your marriage certificate. Even the photos of you and your wife are missing. Without these, it can't be recorded. If you are busy, you can ask someone to send the marriage certificate over. You don't have to come in person," the director of the Civil Affairs Bureau said. He said. Gu Lingqing hung up the phone. Chapter 208. Gu Lingqing returned to the guest room. Baya had already changed into a white dress and showered. "Where are you hurt? Can you shower? The wound will get infected," Gu Lingqing said worriedly. Baya didn't want to answer him. "Arrange the meeting for tomorrow. You're busy today and I don't have the energy to attend the meeting. I'll rest for a night and I should be fine," Baya said weakly. "Let's talk after you've rested. The meeting isn't in a hurry. What do I need to do with the medicine?" Gu Lingqing asked. "I've already taken a drip today. This medicine is for tomorrow. You can go now." "I can sleep after taking the medicine," Baya said with drooping eyes. Gu Lingqing went out to pour a glass of water. Baya had already placed all the medicine in her hand. She took the glass of water and drank a big gulp. She swallowed all the medicine and closed her eyes. The heavy hallucination passed. Gu Lingqing sat on the edge of the bed and looked at her sleeping face. He frowned and covered her forehead with his hand. It was so hot that his palm was sweating. Gu Lingqing's phone rang again. He saw it was Zhou Hailun. He hung up and ordered the orderly, "Go to room 2108 of the 9 Star Hotel and help me take care of someone." "Oh, okay. All right." The orderly hurried out. Gu Lingqing's phone rang again. This time, it was Su Haoran. He asked in surprise, "Your mom said you and Bai Ya are getting married?" Gu Lingqing's dark eyes looked forward. His heart felt like it was being squeezed tightly by a hand. "She won't want to marry me." "Ha! What's going on?" "I received a notice yesterday saying that a mentally ill woman kept asking to see me. I went. That woman is Zhou Hailun," Gu Lingqing explained. Su Haoran was even more shocked. "Hailun isn't dead?" "Yes, 30% of her face was burned and she has been undergoing skin grafting. 90% of her body was burned. She had a mental breakdown and was locked up for treatment. She finally managed to escape and is very afraid of being locked up again. His spirit is in extreme panic and inferiority complex," Gu Lingqing explained. "Who imprisoned her? Didn't they say that only Xia survived?" "Back then, she and I were trapped in the house. She asked me to take the government official away first. When we got out, the roof collapsed, and she was completely trapped inside. There were people chasing after us, and I couldn't make it in time. I could only escort the government official onto the plane, And when I returned, the house had already been burned to ashes. She was dug out and her body was burnt. I thought she was dead, Gu Lingqing said in a choked voice. So, you've been imprisoned by a terrorist organization for so many years? Su Haoren was suspicious. She's been imprisoned for 3 years and started to have mental problems. After that, she was rescued by the special forces and directly reported to the military committee. With their unanimous agreement, they hid her information and locked her in the research room for treatment. Who are they? Su Haoren had a bad feeling. President, your father, my father, Deputy Chief Cheng. Su Haoren suddenly understood. So this time, Zhou Hailan was able to escape successfully because my father and your father let her out on purpose to prevent you from marrying Bai Ye. Gu Lingqing was silent. Then what are you going to do? Su Haoren was also worried for his friend. I have to take care of Hailan. She was injured because of me and suffered for almost 9 years. I can't leave her alone. He was very sure of this. What about Bai Ye? Su Haoren asked tentatively. I love her, Gu Lingqing said firmly. Su Haoren understood. I didn't expect that after going around in circles with her and losing your memory, you would fall in love with her again. As your brother, I can only support you. Haoren, there's something. I don't know if you know, but I was stronger than her back then. Gu Lingqing couldn't remember anything at all. 6 years ago, you were on a mission and the enemy registered drugs. Coincidentally, she was also kidnapped, so you had sex with her. You've been brooding over this matter. After that, Bai Ye had a very unfortunate life. You felt that it was your fault, so you approached her and slowly became attracted to her. Su Haoren explained. I have a child with her. Do you know about this? Gu Lingqing asked immediately. You have a child with her. Su Haoren was also shocked. I don't know about this, but where's the child? Where is he now? Bai Ye said that the child died. Gu Lingqing's eyes dimmed. I don't know about that. I was already at the Air Force Academy at that time. Do you want to investigate this matter? The child is very important. What happened? How did the child die? Su Haoren asked a few questions in a row. He also wanted to know about the child. He hated himself for losing his memory. Otherwise, he would have been able to find more clues. If the child didn't die, maybe you and Bai Ye are a match made in heaven. Even the heavens don't want you two to be separated, Su Haoren suddenly said. Gu Lingqing's eyes lit up. Then, let's start from that mission. He turned on his computer and entered the confidential file room. He entered the search for Gu Lingqing. In his file, there was only information from 4 years ago. He had seen this information before when he lost his memory. There was nothing special about it. He also heard from his father that he became the chief 4 years ago. In other words, his authority could only start from 4 years ago. His mission had been completed 6 years ago. 6 years ago, he was still a colonel. He should be under General Kai Qingyun's command. General Kai Qingyun had retired and returned to his hometown 4 years ago. Gu Lingqing checked on General Kai's hometown, Jinyuan City. Jinyuan City and Jinyang City belonged to the same province. The two cities were separated by 2 hours. It was time for him to visit this old leader. Gu Lingqing wrote down General Kai Qingyun's contact number. He turned off his computer and went to the guest room to check on Bai Ye. Bai Ye was still unconscious. Her nose and forehead were covered in sweat, especially her neck, which was oozing with sweat. He took a dry towel and wiped the sweat off her body. She had just been on an 4 drip. He could only use physical methods to help her lower her body temperature. He fetched a basin of cold water from the bathroom. He soaked the towel and wrung it until it was half dry. He wiped her palms, forehead, and soles of her feet. Then, he threw the towel into the basin and lifted her skirt. Only then did he see the shocking scars on her body. There was one that was especially deep. She had used gauze to cover it. Gu Lingqing's hands trembled as he removed the gauze. Because the wound had split open again, thinking that it had not fully healed, there was a large red circle around the wound, and the wound was close to the heart. Gu Lingqing's deep black eyes sparkled with tears. His heart felt as if it had been hit hard by something, and then it was pressed down. Chapter 209. No wonder she went to the entrance of the Second People's Hospital. Have you seen enough? Baya said coldly. She put down her dress and sat up. She looked at Gu Lingqing without any warmth. Don't you think it's not nice to expose my scar without my permission? How did you get hurt? Gu Lingqing asked worriedly. Baya got up from the bed and didn't even look at Gu Lingqing. You shouldn't be concerned about me. I have nothing to do with you now. Gu Lingqing stood behind her. Marriage is agreed upon by both of us. Didn't you discuss the divorce with me? We agreed before we got married. If I want a divorce, you can't object. I'm just fulfilling your promise. Baya took the diamond ring off her finger and returned it to Gu Lingqing. He took the ring and threw it out of the window. His eyes were red and he said with certainty, I won't get a divorce. We've already divorced. Baya told the truth cruelly. Gu Lingqing held her arm. I'm responsible for Zhou Hailan. She got hurt because of me. That's why she has a mental illness. Baya didn't want to mention the problem that they had talked about before. Then take care of her for the rest of her life, Baya said coldly. Gu Lingqing frowned helplessly. Can't you understand me? There are many women in the world who can understand you, tolerate you, support you, and take your decision as the sky. But I'm not one of them. You can hate me and blame me. But when you find out that I'm not the one you're looking for, you can abandon me, Baya said resolutely. Gu Lingqing's eyes turned cold. Am I not worthy of you waiting for me? Baya raised her head and looked at Gu Lingqing. She had had enough of a hopeless marriage. Holding on for one more day was hell. She was on the verge of breaking down. Everyone had the ability to protect themselves. Just take it as me being selfish. Gu Lingqing put his hand down. I know. Your injuries are quite serious. I'll take you to the hospital. No need. Gu Lingqing was completely enraged. No need, no need. Do you only have these 2 words for me? Baya, I'm telling you, I'm not getting a divorce. If you ask Su Jieran to revoke the registration records in the Civil Affairs Bureau, I can also pressure him to restore the records. You want a divorce? In your dreams. Cracks also appeared on Baya's calm face. I want a divorce. I want freedom. I don't want to be trapped in hopelessness anymore. Where was my husband on our wedding night? Do you think Zhou Hailan is sick and I'm not? Do you think I didn't faint when Zhou Hailan fainted and went to see the doctor? She fainted where you can see her, but I only fainted on the road. That's because you can't see me. Ask your heart. I don't know all these. You shouldn't blame me because I don't know. What's wrong with you? Gu Lingqing looked at Baya worriedly. Baya paused for a moment. Impulsiveness was the devil. It would make people angry and rush to their brain, causing them to lose control of their emotions. They would say things they shouldn't say when they're angry. She understood this logic, but she couldn't do it most of the time. Gu Lingqing, I'm very tired. Let me rest for a while. You can go and do what you need to do, Baya said softly. Gu Lingqing looked at Baya's pale face. Her gaze gradually softened. I won't force you to marry me, but you shouldn't force me to divorce either. Extreme methods aren't good for either of us. Okay, Baya replied. She really didn't have any strength left. You should rest for a while. I'll make you something to eat. Gu Lingqing lifted the blanket. Baya's heart ached. She lay down on the bed. Gu Lingqing covered her with the blanket. She didn't want to face Gu Lingqing, so she closed her eyes. Xiaoya, don't sleep yet. Your wound needs to be treated. Have you prepared the medicine? Gu Lingqing said softly. Baya opened her eyes. I've applied the medicine. Once in the morning and once at night. You can go now. Gu Lingqing went out. Not long after, he came back with a kettle and poured water into a cup. I'm not leaving. I'm in the kitchen. Call me if you need anything, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. He turned around and walked towards the door. Baya looked at his stalwart back view. She couldn't bear to see him go. She had heard about the story of Gu Lingqing and Zhou Hailan long ago. He was responsible for Zhou Hailan. It wasn't wrong. However, she did care about it. She didn't want to force him to give up his responsibility. So, she took the initiative to give up on him. But now that he didn't want to see Zhou Hailan because of her, it made her very sad. Women were contradictory creatures. At the same time, they were too soft-hearted and easily blinded by emotions. She had seen many cases. A young, beautiful, and kind female postgraduate saw an old man fall down. She helped him up. The old man said that she had come here to look for her son. She couldn't find him, so she wanted to go home. The female postgraduate sent the old man to a mountainous area. In the end, she was detained and became the wife of a man with an IQ. She was even forced to give birth to a disabled child. There was also a young, beautiful nurse who helped a pregnant woman go home. Unexpectedly, the pregnant woman was helping her husband hunt. In the end, the nurse was brutally killed by the couple. Kindness, compassion, and most importantly, rationality and danger awareness were necessary. Baya closed her eyes. Her head was too heavy. She fell asleep. When she woke up again, it was already 10 o'clock at night. Her stomach was aching from hunger. She got up from the bed and opened the door to go out. Gu Lingqing was sitting on the sofa. He stood up when he saw her. "Are you hungry? The food is ready. You can eat it after heating it up." Baya nodded. "Thank you." Gu Lingqing didn't like it when she said thank you to him. It sounded distant. He walked towards her and put the diamond ring back on her ring finger. "Don't take it off first. I won't force you to get married. Let's get used to it for 3 months first and then decide if we want to be together. If you still don't want to be with me after 3 months, then I won't force you." Baya looked at the diamond ring on her finger. The diamond shone under the light. She looked at Gu Lingqing rationally. With Gu Lingqing's authority, a military marriage couldn't be divorced. It might not be possible in the future. After all, marriage was a fact. It was only 3 months. "Okay," Baya replied. "Go sit at the dining table first. I'll be done in a while." Gu Lingqing's tensed expression finally relaxed a little. He walked into the kitchen. He made mullet soup, carotene, tomatoes, and eggs. Mullet is used to heal wounds. Carotene and vitamin C will heal wounds, Gu Lingqing explained. "Okay." He brought 2 bowls of rice, one for her and one for him. She glanced at him. Didn't he also not have dinner? Chapter 2:10. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing. Her eyes were deep and distant. She lowered her head and continued eating. "What's wrong?" Gu Lingqing asked confusedly. "When the child was born, he didn't grow up. I couldn't tell who he looked like, but his skin was very white. His eyelashes were very long. His mouth was small and he had double eyelids." When Baya mentioned the child, there was finally a smile on her face. "How did the child die?" Gu Lingqing stared at her. "I don't know. After I gave birth to him, he was taken away by a group of people. I don't know who they are and I can't find out who they are. I've been looking for him for more than 5 years, but he disappeared like a stone in the ocean. If he's still alive, he should be 5 years old by now," Baya said sadly. Gu Lingqing's hope was ignited. "So you're not sure whether he's dead or not?" Baya didn't say anything and lowered her head to eat. "Could it be your ex-husband who did it?" Gu Lingqing guessed. "Impossible. He didn't know that I didn't abort the child. He didn't even know about the existence of the child. I asked him to look for the child later on but he couldn't find it for more than 3 years, Baya said with certainty. "Nonsense. The child isn't your ex-husband's. What's the use of looking for him?" Gu Lingqing frowned. "Then look for him. If you find him, I'll marry you," Baya said casually. She took a deep breath and realized that she had said the wrong thing. "I'm joking." Gu Lingqing's eyes dimmed. "Let's eat first." Gu Lingqing's phone rang. He saw that it was Zhou Hailan and hung up. The phone rang again. It was Zhou Hailan again. "Answer it." "I'll go with you to see her later," Baya said calmly. "She's in a bad state." Baya curled her lips. "It's fine if I don't go." "That's not what I mean." Gu Lingqing hesitated and looked at Baya. "Are you afraid that I'll hurt her?" Baya guessed. "Her condition is very unstable. She is easily frightened and will do things to hurt others." "Don't go for now," Gu Lingqing explained. Baya smiled. He was still afraid that she would hurt Zhou Hailan. She had already tried to help him. So be it. Her kindness was treated as ill intent. "Go ahead. Otherwise, it would be bad if she hurt others, Baya said with a smile. I'll come back later, Gu Lingqing promised. Baya lowered his head and ate. She watched him leave from the corner of her eye. If every time she and her husband had a meal together, her husband would leave for another woman. Even if they shared the same bed, he would still leave for another woman. Then, if she still wanted to be with him, it would be too frustrating. Let's wait for 3 months. It won't take long. Even though she said so, she still felt uncomfortable and unhappy. She wanted to call Lu Shuang, but Lu Shuang had to work during the day. It was so late and he should be asleep. She still had to work tomorrow, so she did not call him. She went out of the military base, took a taxi and went to the nearest KTV. She booked a private room and sang. She sang old songs that everyone could sing. Things like, Happy Breakup, It's Always Quiet, It's Always Raining, and Orbit. How to hide my sadness, the place where I lost you. When I close my eyes, I can still see the traces of you leaving. I'll be in a daze, and then forget you, thinking that one day, someone will replace you. The tears in my heart have blurred the world. She sang and cried. She sang and cried until her tears broke the dam and she could no longer sing. She lowered her head and clenched her fists. Her shoulders were trembling. The door was pushed open. Baya looked up at the door in alarm. Su Jiaran walked in. I know you're alone. I've always been alone too. I'm here to accompany you. Baya cried even harder. She did not want to think about anything. She just wanted to cry to her heart's content. She was afraid that if she thought too much, her thoughts would become chaotic again. Su Jiaran sat next to her and placed his hand on her shoulder. Baya pushed him away. Even if I'm sad, even if I'm sad, even if I'm in despair, I don't want to casually start an ambiguous relationship. Tears flowed out of Su Jiaran's left eye. Baya was slightly shocked. I'm not casually starting an ambiguous relationship with you. I just want to give you the warmth that I can give. Do you think that your warmth is what I want? Baya was emotional. Whether you want it or not is your business. Whether you give it or not is my business. You can reject me. You can keep rejecting me, just like how I rejected you in the past. Baya, do you know the real reason why I didn't touch you in the 3 years we were married? Baya turned her face away. There were too many tears and they had already covered her vision. She wiped away her tears handsomely, but they still flowed out. Because your father killed my father. I knew that one day, the flames of my vengeance would burn you. From the first time I saw you, I liked you. Because I liked you, I didn't dare to get close to you. I was afraid that it would ruin my determination. But in the end, it ruined my vengeance. I'm willing. I was willing to give up everything for you. Su Jiaran. Baya raised her voice. Do you think that 3 years has diluted my memory and made me forget the pain I felt when I was with you? It's a fact that you hurt me, slept with other women, forced yourself on me, and almost killed me. Although I'm not smart, I'm not forgetful. That's because I added my hatred to you. I'm sorry, Baya. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. I've already received my punishment. Seeing you cry, my heart hurts. Seeing you commit suicide, my heart that was in pain died too. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you very much. Su Jiaran said emotionally. Okay, you love me very much, right? Baya took out a fruit knife from her bag and threw it in front of him. I castrated myself and stayed by your side. I'll accompany you for the rest of my life. What I want has never been sex. I want to be with you forever. Can you do that? Baya said impulsively. Okay, you said it. Su Jiaran picked up the knife and cut towards his abdomen. Baya closed her eyes and blocked his hand. The sharp knife pierced into her arm. Baya! Su Jiaran shouted guiltily. Baya smiled. Her red and swollen eyes were flowing with tears. I'm going crazy again, Su Jiaran. I'm like my mother. I'm mentally ill. Su Jiaran looked at Baya in surprise. Tears flowed down her pale face. I'll send you to the hospital, Su Jiaran said with heartache. I want to leave. I haven't adjusted myself. I want to go back to America, Baya said while crying. Okay, you can go anywhere you want. I'll accompany you. Even if it's hell, I'll go with you. Su Jiaran held the wound on Baya's arm tightly. Blood stained his palm. Baya stood up in a daze. Her eyes turned black and she fainted. Chapter 2:11. Baya opened her eyes and saw the luxurious crystal chandelier. The crystal chandelier reflected the sunlight outside. It was already dawn. Her emotions were much calmer than last night. When melatonin accumulated in the body, it would make people irritable, angry, depressed, paranoid and depressed. She still had serotonin in her body yesterday, so she was angry and impulsive. Fortunately, these would disappear with the metabolism. So when she woke up, she would be much more rational. She sat up from the bed. The wounds on her body were bandaged when she was unconscious. Baya got down from the bed and opened the door. Su Jiaran was sitting in front of the computer. When he saw her coming out, he immediately stood up and explained, "You fainted yesterday and have a fever of 41 degrees. It's better for you to rest now. I'll get someone to take a look at you." "Thank you. It's okay. I feel much better now." Baya rejected his kindness and glanced around her room. "Where did you put my bag? I was in a hurry to send you to the hospital yesterday, so I didn't pay attention. I sent someone to get it this morning and they said that someone took it. I think it was Gu Lingqing. It should be easy for him to find you through your phone's GPS, Su Jiaran guessed." Baya lowered her eyes. Her long eyelashes left a black silhouette under her eyes. While she was in a daze, Su Jiaran walked to Baya and said gently, "Xiaoya, don't you want to go back to America? I'll transfer my company so that I can stay with you. I was drunk yesterday and I was talking nonsense." "Don't take it seriously," Baya said calmly. "Then are you going to watch Gu Lingqing and Zhou Hailan hurt you? Do you think you're not broken enough?" Su Jiaran said impulsively and held Baya's hand. "Gu Lingqing has Zhou Hailan in his heart. I only have you in my heart. Who you have in your heart has nothing to do with me. I just want to know who I have in my heart and who is left. Do you have a disposable toothbrush? If it's convenient, send me back to the military," Baya said coldly. "I really don't understand you. You know it's purgatory, why do you still want to go there? Aren't you afraid of seeing Gu Lingqing and Zhou Hailan together?" Su Jiaran said with a frown. "I am a woman who climbed out of the grave of marriage. What am I afraid of?" Baya twitched the corner of his mouth and said sarcastically, "Perhaps if you decide to forget and stop loving, you should experience being hurt to the point where you can't recover, just like how I walked out of your cage." "Aren't you being cheap?" Su Jiaran was furious. He stared at Baya. "Slut." Baya's eyes became misty, but her thoughts were clear. "Do you think I don't want to forget him? Do you think I don't want to break free? When reason goes against my heart, I will feel pain in my heart. When my heart is in pain, reason will compromise because the feeling of pain is simply worse than death. Life is worse than death. I don't want to live such a painful life anymore. I want my heart to wake up completely, and the person who can wake my heart up can only be Gu Lingqing." "Baya, are you really crazy? Do you know what you are talking about?" Su Jiaran was not calm. He didn't agree with Baya's point of view, and he didn't want Baya to go to Gu Lingqing's side. He was afraid that Baya would stay by Gu Lingqing's side with all her heart. If that happened, he would be left alone in this world. The word, crazy, touched Baya's sensitive nerve. Was she really crazy? She didn't know, but she now fully understood her mother's mentality when she became crazy. They would rather be called crazy by the world than be considered a complete fool. So, her mother would rather lock herself in her memories than go to Xing Batian for help. "I am an independent person. I am responsible for my own actions. If you don't have a toothbrush and you don't want to give it to me, I can solve it myself." Baya walked towards the door. Su Jiaran held her arm and almost used a pleading tone. "Can't you give me another chance? I know I was wrong. I won't look for another woman in the future. You promised, as long as I castrate myself, you are willing to stay by my side for the rest of your life. I love you, Xiaoya. I want to take care of you and have our child. I won't let you be sad anymore. When you are sick, I will accompany you. When you are lonely, I will accompany you. Wherever you want to go, I will accompany you. I won't let anyone hurt you anymore." Tears, along with her cheeks, flowed down. 3 years ago, when she was still married, she was not prepared to accept Gu Lingqing. If he had said these words in the state of their marriage at that time, Perhaps she and Gu Lingqing wouldn't have the things that happened later. But what did Su Jiaran give her? Sarcasm, hurt, use of her friend to threaten, hysterical destruction. I remember telling you before that my heart is very small. When I have you, there won't be Gu Lingqing. Now when I have Gu Lingqing there won't be you, Bai Ye said with certainty. Su Jiaran wiped the tears off Bai Ye's face. Then I will wait until you don't have Gu Lingqing in your heart. I know that it will be harder for me to enter your heart than ordinary people, but I will persist. Bai Ye pushed his hand away and turned her face away. Just like when Su Jiaran played with other women, she did not want to humiliate herself. Even if Gu Lingqing had Zhou Hailan in his heart, she would not casually use other men to have an ambiguous relationship with many problems. Ning Ke should not look at her. I'm leaving. You don't need to see me off. Bai Ye quickly walked out of the door and walked on the unfamiliar road. Right now, she was really in a sorry state. No money, no mobile phone, unkempt hair, dirty face, and teeth not brushed. She was still wearing the wrinkled clothes from yesterday. She did not take a bath, and all kinds of unpleasant smells mixed together. People around her looked at her strangely. She could ignore them and looked at the blue sky. She did not want much. She just wanted a home. No matter where she was, there would always be a destination that she wanted to return to. Her husband didn't need to be powerful, rich, or handsome. He just needed to be able to talk to her and make her feel comfortable and at ease. When she was sleeping, she opened her eyes and realized that she wasn't alone. She could find him, right? Several cars stopped in front of her. Gu Lingqing got out of the car and walked quickly to her. Where did you go last night? I was worried about you. Chapter 2:12. I went out to sing. Bai Ye said lightly and lowered her eyes. Her long eyelashes were like ink fans, covering the top of her eyelids. Gu Lingqing held Bai Ye's hand. Her hand was as cold as ice. He tightened his grip. I went to the KTV to look for you. You weren't there, but your bag and phone were still there. With Chief Gu's ability, how could you not know where I am? Bai Ye asked in return. The corners of her mouth curled up. Her eyes were gentle, but there was no smile in them. She looked very strange. Gu Lingqing frowned. He really couldn't find her. He had located her phone, but the electronic eye seemed to be broken. He couldn't find her trace. After searching for a night, he finally found her location and rushed over immediately. But he guessed that the only person who could block the electronic eye was Su Jiaran. His eyes were bloodshot. He had always been calm and collected. He didn't show his emotions on his face, but there was a surge of anger in his body. The flame burned away most of his rationality. What do you want? Are you with Su Jiaran to anger me or to take revenge on me? Is there any meaning in doing this? Bai Ye's eyes flickered and she swallowed her bitterness. She had fainted yesterday. Otherwise, she wouldn't have left with Su Jiaran. If he thought that she was taking revenge, so be it. Indeed, it's very boring. Give me my bag and phone. I won't go to the military for the time being. I'll take a day off today. Bai Ye wanted to calm herself down. You can take a week off. Gu Lingqing turned around and got into the car. Her bag was thrown out of the window. It was as if a knife had pierced her heart. She was an excellent psychologist. She knew that Gu Lingqing's action was because of anger and disgust. The two of them had been together for a long time, but they became more unforgiving. They were unforgiving because they didn't cherish it. They didn't cherish it because they had found someone they wanted to cherish more. Her complaints, anger, sharpness, and sharpness were a double-edged sword. Stabbing other people's colleagues would also stab herself. Everyone would avoid her when she was holding a sword. Everyone was afraid of being hurt. Bai Ye picked up the bag, opened it, and took out the medicine bottle. Her hands were trembling, and without water, she took one pill. His unstable emotions gradually calmed down. She booked a room in a nearby hotel, took a shower, and applied medicine on herself. After bandaging her wound, she lay on the bed and stared at the ceiling in a daze. Most male chauvinist men liked women who were obedient. They liked women to rely on, act coquettishly, and satisfy their male self-esteem. The woman in their dreams had long hair fluttering in the wind. She walked like a willow. She was gentle, affectionate, and considerate. She needed their protection. However, because of the influence of male chauvinism, they didn't like it when women around them asked them things they didn't want to say and interfered with their lives, especially when they questioned their relationship with women. They would feel annoyed and even hate it over time. Gu Lingqing was a male chauvinist. She couldn't be obedient, nor would she act coquettishly. She didn't want to rely on him. She wouldn't beg for mercy when he walked away. Perhaps they were not compatible in terms of personality. Baya rested for a while to stop herself from thinking too much. She went to the shopping center to buy 2 sets of expensive clothes and a set of makeup. When no one loved her, she had to love herself even more. Baya changed her clothes. It was a strapless dress with a white top and black bottom. She tied her hair up and put on exquisite makeup. She looked dignified and noble, but also playful and bright. She went to the nursing home and secretly looked at Bai Bing. Bai Bing was reading a book. She had recovered well and her complexion had become very good. Her eyes were no longer blurry, but there was the bright light of a Tao crystal. She was immersed in the fantasy of making herself more beautiful. She couldn't appear. As soon as she appeared, Bai Bing would ask her about seeing Xing Bachuan. If she was disappointed once, twice or thrice, she would fall short of success. She could only give it a shot and see Bai Bing change. Bai Ya's phone rang. She looked at a series of numbers, hesitated for a moment, then answered and walked out of the door. "Hello, do you still remember who I am?" The man's mellow voice came from the phone. Bai Ya's memory was quite good. He was the man she had casually called, answered, and told each other what was on her mind. "I remember. What's wrong?" Baya asked politely. "I'm in City A and I want to see you," the man said directly. Baya twitched the corner of her mouth and refused. "Meeting is not as good as reminiscing. Don't misunderstand. After your advice last time, my situation has improved a lot. This time, I brought a friend here. My friend's son has a big problem," he said sincerely. "My fee is not low. 10,000 an hour. Not to mention 10,000, as long as you can cure his son, he will pay you even 1,000,000. Baya was silent for a moment. Love was gone, but her career was still important. The more decadent she was, the more she was looked down upon and abandoned, the more she wanted to live a better life. "I'll see you in an hour at Shenla Cafe in Water Moon International," Baya said and hung up the phone. When she was about to reach Water Moon International, her text message rang. "Alyssa's private room," the man left a message. Baya put away her phone, got out of the car, went into Shenla Cafe, found Alyssa's private room, and knocked on the door. "Come in." The man's deep voice sounded. Baya pushed the door open. There was only one man in the private room. He was wearing a light blue vest with a white shirt inside. He had a slightly delicate face and curly hair. He was very handsome, in line with the aesthetic standards of 1990 and 1990. He was also wearing light and elegant men's cologne. His lips were red and his teeth were white. He looked young, which did not match the age his voice conveyed. Baya sat opposite him. His eyes were still lingering on her face. "I didn't expect you to be so beautiful." Baya tapped the table lightly, without his warmth, calmness, self-control, and depth. "Where is your friend?" "He went out to buy a pack of cigarettes and will come back 10 minutes later." "You came earlier than I expected." "I'm Cheng Jinrong. What's your name?" Cheng Jinrong asked. She did not want to be friends with him. "Tell me about your friend's child." Baya took out a pen and a notebook from her bag. Cheng Jinrong laughed. "You're always so cold to people? There's no need to be warm. Why give people the wrong information and worry about nothing?" Baya said seriously. "I'm very curious. There are people who don't cherish such a beautiful and mature woman like you?" Cheng Jinrong said pitifully. Baya's lips twitched. "Roses may look beautiful, but they will be pricked when you pick them. They will wither after a few days of forcefully picking them. Isn't it normal to not cherish a withered flower? If you want to know more about my privacy, then I'm sorry, I'll leave first." Baya put the notebook and pen into her bag and stood up. Cheng Jinrong stood up too. He was very tall, probably 1.9 meters. "If I said something wrong, I'll apologize. I won't ask. I really brought my friend here for something." Just as he finished speaking, The door of the private room was pushed open. Baya looked at the person and paused. Chapter 213. She always had an unfulfilled wish. Back then, in order to be with Gu Lingqing, she went to Tangqian village to investigate Governor Cheng's murder and caused Tang Xiaojiu's death. Before Tang Xiaojiu died, he gave her the evidence. She promised to help Tang Xiaojiu fulfill his unfulfilled wish and promised that if she didn't find the murderer and bring him to justice, she and Gu Lingqing couldn't be together. Now, she and Gu Lingqing weren't together because she broke her promise. She carried the lives of an entire village on her back. Who was the person in front of her? LV Xingzhou. Back then, she found the two most suspicious people. One was Luliang City and the other was LV Xingzhou. Luliang City and LV Xingzhou had a good relationship. Luliang City was promoted by LV Xingzhou. When he was the mayor of Jinyang City, LV Xingzhou was already the deputy secretary of the state. At that time, in order to investigate Luliang City and Jinyang City, she even passed the Discipline Inspection Institute and became an exchange supervisor. She used her connections to enter the Jinyang City Procuratorate. At that time, Gu Lingqing also intervened. Originally, they could have worked together to complete this mission. But later, Gu Lingqing lost his memory and she was heartbroken. Since she wasn't as capable as Gu Lingqing, she couldn't achieve immediate results, so she left country A. She didn't expect to meet Luliang City Superior, LV Xingzhou, in such a way. Hello. LV Xingzhou reached out his hand. He looked very serious and unapproachable. Hello. Baya also shook hands with him in a businesslike manner. I heard from Jinrong that you're very good at psychology. After your guidance, his temper has improved a lot and his mentality has become clearer. LV Xingzhou looked at Baya suspiciously. It's not bad. My surname is Baya. If you have friends in America who specialize in psychology, you should know me. Baya smiled. Cheng Jinrong stood up. Don't stand and talk. We're all friends. Have a seat. Baya glanced at Cheng Jinrong. Cheng Jinrong smiled. His smile was sincere. Baya lowered her eyes and sat down. She tapped her fingers on the table gently and said, "Tell me about your child." Let's talk about the situation first. I hope to sign an agreement with Madame Bai. The agreement will state the payment details. However, I want it to be strictly confidential. If even the slightest bit of information leaks out from here, you will have to pay me $1 million. LV Xingzhou demanded an exorbitant price. It is my professional ethics as a doctor not to expose the patient's condition. More than 1 or 2 people know about your son's condition. How can you guarantee that the news was not spread by them but by me? I'm sorry, if you don't trust me, you don't have to start the treatment. Baya stood up. Of course, Secretary Louis doesn't mean that. We believe you can keep it a secret. You are a bit impatient. Cheng Jinrong said the second half of the sentence gently. Baya was just playing mind games. She was LV Xingzhou. She would definitely accept this task. Baya returned to her chair and looked at LV Xingzhou with a firm and steady gaze. Secretary LV, to you, your son's illness is a family scandal. But to me, whether the patient's information is disclosed or not is related to my career. If I were a doctor who casually disclosed the patient's information, if I was a doctor who casually disclosed the patient's condition, would there still be people coming to me for treatment? So, your worries are unnecessary. LV Xingzhou hesitated. Why don't you come to me after you've thought it through? Don't suspect the people you use. Don't use the people you doubt. Baya said calmly. LV Xingzhou sighed and said, my son is not only a voyeur. He also has a habit of stealing clothes. A few days ago, it even happened. LV Xingzhou did not continue. Baya smiled and said with certainty, the rape incident. LV Xingzhou furrowed his brows, a strange awkwardness on his face. Luckily, that family was still reasonable, but I'm worried that similar things will happen again in the future. I can settle it once, twice, or even thrice, but if you walk by the river often, how can you not get your shoes wet? There will always be exceptions, out of 100 people. Out of 100 people, as long as one of them is exposed, my son will be finished. Voyeur, stealing clothes to rape is a process of him probing. If you had stopped him when he was just peeping, He wouldn't have gone to stealing clothes. He made a mistake, and you spent money to settle it. He would only think that my father can settle it with money. So, there will definitely be a second time. This rape incident might even turn into murder, Baya said coldly. Can you save him? My son is still young. I think he can be corrected. Oh right, I even introduced a girlfriend to him before. He already has a girlfriend. How could he still do such a thing? LV Xingzhou was disappointed. There are many reasons for psychological abnormalities. The most common is the influence of the environment and the internet. Changing some hobbies can't be done in a day. It requires long-term planning and to let him put his mind into other hobbies. Carry out reasonable guidance. Don't forcefully lock him up, it will backfire, Baya said clearly. LV Xingzhou's face turned ugly. He's locked up at home now. How old is he? Baya asked. 18. He's currently in his second year of high school. Previously, a classmate told me that he likes the campus bell of their school. I'm worried that he will do something wrong, so I haven't let him go to school this semester, LV Xingzhou said irritably. He can watch the person, but he can't watch the heart. Have you hired a tutor? I've hired one, but he's a mess. I've hired many tutors, but no one is willing to teach him. Because of him, many strands of my hair have turned white. He's my only son. I don't know what to do. LV Xingzhou was very dispirited. Baya squinted her eyes and looked at LV Xingzhou. Humans are really strange creatures. They are complicated and contradictory. Some people kill people madly, but are very filial to their parents. Some people are stingy, but can donate all their savings in one go. LV Xingzhou loved his own child so much, but did not have any pity for other people's children. That's why he massacred an entire village in one night. I will temporarily go to your house to treat your son as a home tutor. The treatment period will be 3 months. I will be there from Monday to Friday, from 8 in the morning to 16 in the afternoon, 8 hours a day. The fee will be 80,000 yuan a day. There are 22 days in a month. 76 million yuan. I request that you pay me in advance as a deposit when you sign the contract. After a month, if you feel that I can't do it, the agreement will be terminated. If you feel that I can do it, the second month's fee will also have to be paid in advance. I promise to look after him for 3 months. Otherwise, I will only charge you for 2 months. In addition, I request that you do as I say. If you don't do as I say, the agreement will be terminated immediately. How about it? Baya said in a businesslike tone. You promise to look after him for 3 months? Even if you can't look after him, you've already taken more than 3 million. I promise. Baya said confidently. Think carefully before you call me. I have something to do, so I'll be leaving first. Chapter 214. Baya saw him and was slightly stunned. Didn't he swagger off in the morning? Didn't he say that it would be fine even if she took a week off? He even threw her bag out. Now, what did he mean by appearing in front of her? Is the chief free? Baya said bluntly. His eyes were sharp, as if there were countless thorns. When he opened his mouth, it made people feel uncomfortable. Gu Lingqing looked at her with a profound gaze. His ink-black eyes reflected the 2 tiny versions of her. He remained silent. Baya suddenly felt bored. The fire she released fell on the glacier, and what was left was still ice. She also became silent. The 2 of them stood face to face, and the atmosphere was extremely awkward. Are you still angry? Finally, Gu Lingqing asked in a gentle tone. He was actually very angry at that time. He left directly, but he didn't return to the military. He had located her cell phone, so he knew that she had gone to the hotel, and he knew that she had gone to the nursing home. When he knew that she went to the cafe, he couldn't sit still and drove over to wait for her at the door. Baya looked down. She used the period of silence just now to calm down. Being angry couldn't solve the problem. Being angry would also produce toxins to hurt herself. There was no need. You came at the right time. I accepted a project and need to go on a business trip for about 3 months. Baya went straight to the topic. Gu Lingqing frowned. His chest was moving up and down violently, and his breathing was not stable. Do you think I will agree? If the matter in the military is urgent, I can ask Mu Xiaoxing to send someone else over. It won't delay your business. Gu Lingqing's eyes narrowed and he said fiercely, I said that I want you. The people in the research institute are also professionals in psychological tests. Their ability is no less than mine. I'm doing voluntary work here. It's my own patient. It's related to my career and money. You can't force me. Baya tried his best to match his mood. I can also pay you. I'll give you as much as you want. I won't give you less than they do, Gu Lingqing said domineeringly. Baya was also a little annoyed. She frowned. Is there no room for discussion? What do you think? You only gave me 3 months. Once you go out, the 3 months are gone. Baya, you are not fair to me. Gu Lingqing said rationally. She could see through all her thoughts. I'm unfair to you, but have you ever been fair to me? Baya recalled what he had said in the past 2 days. Her brain was suddenly congested, and there was no room for her to think. She only felt very irritated. Am I so unfair to you? Gu Lingqing stared at her. She didn't want to keep complaining like a resentful wife. Gu Lingqing, I'm telling you from a professional standpoint of psychology that our personalities are not compatible. Since it's meaningless to be together, why should we force it? Baya thought that her luggage was still with him, so she didn't refuse. She got into his car. Lieutenant Colonel Song drove the car. The muscles on Gu Lingqing's face were tense, and his eyes were dark, as if he was thinking about something. Baya looked out of the window. She loved to read magazines a long time ago. Some magazines had the enlightenment of a young girl's heart, and some magazines seemed to be the precipitation after experiencing the vicissitudes of life. She remembered one of the stories, which went like this. After a beautiful and elegant woman married her husband, she stopped putting on makeup and no longer paid attention to her clothes. She spent all her time in the kitchen, living room, and children. Finally, one day, the husband was tired of the old woman at home and found a third son. The woman divorced decisively, began to put on makeup, and began to pick up the luxurious clothes that had been thrown away. At a business party, the husband met his ex-wife. She was dazzling, with her own sparkle, calm and elegant, like a goddess accompanying her new husband, talking leisurely and charming. Chapter 2:15. If a man treated a woman as a goddess, the woman would become a goddess. If a man treated a woman as a faded old woman, the woman would become a faded old woman. And she, beside Gu Lingqing, seemed to become sharper and sharper, harder and harder to talk to, and harsher and harsher. In the past, she hated harsh words, sharpness, indifference, and darkness. In fact, she had become what she hated the most now. She couldn't go on like this. Baya closed her eyes and leaned against the back of the chair to rest. Gu Lingqing glanced at her. Her eyelashes trembled slightly, and she didn't sleep well. He felt very distressed, and his breathing became heavy, falling on her face. Baya opened her eyes and caught his gaze on her. What's wrong? Baya asked lazily. Is your wound better? Gu Lingqing asked deeply. His tone was calm and much gentler than before. It's better. It should have formed a scar. It won't take long for it to recover completely, Baya said faintly. She also said it to herself. Time would definitely heal her scar, so that she wouldn't feel pain anymore. Do you really want to go on a business trip for 3 months? Gu Lingqing compromised. I want to take this patient, Baya said with certainty. When will you go? I don't know yet. I'm waiting for the notification. Don't not come back, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya felt a little sad. Maybe she really wouldn't come back. There were many variables in 3 months. She didn't want to make a promise easily, so she didn't say anything. Gu Lingqing understood her unspoken words. His heart was very tight, and his breathing became thin. He held her hand tightly. His hand was firm and full of warmth like the sun. It's my fault that I went out on our wedding night. I didn't know that you were also injured. There have been a lot of things recently, and I can't control my emotions well. I'll be angry at you. Gu Lingqing paused for a while. He didn't want to cover up his mistake, nor did he want to avoid responsibility. I've thought about it seriously. I want to marry you, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Bai Ya's lips curled up slightly, looking calm and serene. You want to marry me because you're stronger than me, and because we have a child, so you feel responsible for me. Perhaps, it's also because you proposed to me before Zhou Hailan? Gu Lingqing. You are a very special person. A person with a sense of responsibility. This kind of person will make you have great achievements, but will also make your life more difficult than others. I want to marry you because I like you, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice, directly responding to the relationship between them. Baiya paused slightly. His words were simple and unpretentious, but her heart was in turmoil. Should she trust him? Was he only responsible for Zhou Hailan? How could she tolerate him taking care of other women all the time? Baiya turned her face away and looked out of the window. Her heart and mind were in a mess. She had to think about it carefully. Gu Lingqing also looked out of the window. He hadn't slept for a few nights, and he was very tired. However, he held her hand and didn't let go. The two of them didn't speak again. When the car arrived at the military base, Gu Lingqing was already asleep. He opened his eyes suddenly and looked at Baiya anxiously. She was still there, asleep. Her eyes were closed, and her head was leaning against the window. She looked lonely. His heart ached as he took off his suit jacket and draped it over her body. Baiya woke up too. She stretched her neck and looked out of the window. We're here. You can sleep a little more when we get back. You look very tired. Gu Lingqing touched her face gently. Baiya looked down. She didn't agree, but she didn't reject him either. The car went in and stopped at Gu Lingqing's courtyard. The orderly ran over and opened the back door. Gu Lingqing got out of the car. Baiya came out from the other side. Ah Qing, you're finally back. Zhou Hailan smiled sweetly and ran towards Gu Lingqing. She hugged Gu Lingqing's waist. Uncle Gu said that you've already settled the procedures to pick me up. I don't have to go back to the cold laboratory alone anymore, right? Gu Lingqing looked at Zhou Hailan deeply. He pursed his lips and maintained an unchanging expression. He didn't say a word. Baiya lowered her eyes and looked at the two people who were hugging each other. The man was handsome and the woman was beautiful. It was like a beautiful picture. The picture was too beautiful. She didn't dare to look at it. She quietly moved her eyes away and looked at the entrance of Gu Lingqing's apartment. Song Shiyu and Gu Tianhang stood there, like gods looking down at her hunched back. Baiya blinked. Her heart hurt so much that it didn't feel like it was hers. For more than 3 years, she had been wronged by Xiong Daini. Fortunately, she didn't have a father-in-law. Now, she would suffer even more grievances at the hands of Gu Lingqing's parents. At least, Xiong Daini only looked down on her and didn't bring other women to his son. But Gu Lingqing's parents did. Baiya took a deep breath and didn't want to struggle anymore. She looked at Gu Lingqing. I'll go get my luggage. Chief Gu, please send someone to send me out later. Gu Lingqing clenched his fists and looked at her. His chin was tight. Baiya smiled. He didn't ask her to stay. In fact, this was the love triangle. When men were hesitant, the one who looked strong and independent was always the one who got hurt. He felt that the soft one couldn't leave him, while the strong one didn't seem to need him. Since he was strong, he had to hold on no matter what. Because even if he fell, no one would thank him. Baiya walked straight into Gu Lingqing's room. She didn't even look at Song Shiyu and Gu Tianhang. Song Shiyu followed her in and said behind Baiya, I told you long ago that Lingqing loves someone else. Why do you have to humiliate yourself? Now that Lana is back, don't ruin them. Baiya felt as if she had been slapped in the face many times. When she was facing Song Shiyu, she was so righteous and high-spirited. Now, she was like a clown being toyed with by them. Apart from being humiliated, embarrassed, and humiliated, she also felt humiliated. And these were all caused by Gu Lingqing. She could only pretend that she didn't hear anything. She opened her suitcase and made sure that her luggage was inside. Then she zipped it up and stood up. Song Shiyu was infuriated by her arrogance. She stood in front of Baiya and said, Didn't you hear what I said? Or are you putting on airs? Madam Gu, I want to leave now. Are you standing in front of me because you can't bear to leave me? Why don't I stay here tonight? Baya said coldly. Don't be a bad woman, Song Shiyu said in a low voice and stood at the side. Baya pulled her suitcase out. I'll make arrangements based on the situation. This meant that he might not be in the special forces. It's okay, I can persist. I want to be with you. If I can't even overcome this little difficulty, how can I overcome bigger difficulties? Ah Qing, just promise me. I can endure any hardship. Zhou Hailon shook Gu Lingqing's hands and said coquettishly. Gu Lingqing's eyes deepened. Are you sure you can overcome all the difficulties? I can, Zhou Hailon said firmly. I'll arrange for you to live with the new recruits. Is that okay? Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. I can live here with you. It's very spacious here. My place is spacious and quiet. I even have an orderly to serve you. But as the instructor of the Special Forces, do you think it's appropriate for you to live comfortably? Zhou Hailon paused. Then let me be your orderly. I'll take care of you. Anyway, no matter what you arrange, I just want to be with you. Hailon, you've been a soldier before. I'm a senior officer. I can't let you stay here. Go out. I need to change. Haha. Zhou Hailon laughed like a silver bell. You're already 33 this year. You're still as shy as when you were 23. I'm your girlfriend. Why can't I see you? Hailon, I'm married, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Zhou Hailon looked at Gu Lingqing in disbelief. How is that possible? How can you be married? If you're married, where's your wife? If you're married, why would uncle and auntie matchmake us? I've never heard that you're married. Ah Qing, don't make such a joke. I don't like it. My heart can't take it. I'm not joking. You're free now. You won't be locked up again. If you want to continue your life as a soldier, I can help you get used to the military. If you want a comfortable life, I can arrange it, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Zhou Hailon shivered. He looked down and his eyes were empty. He mumbled to himself. Ah Qing likes me. Ah Qing only likes me. Ah Qing will marry me. Ah Qing will marry me. Ah Qing isn't a heartless person. I'm going to find Ah Qing. Zhou Hailon, Gu Lingqing shouted. Zhou Hailon didn't seem to see Gu Lingqing. He walked out and saw Song Shiyu. He went forward and asked, Hello, have you seen Ah Qing? His name is Gu Lingqing. He's tall and handsome. He's in the Special Forces. He's Gu Lingqing who will become a general one day. Song Shiyu looked at Gu Lingqing who was behind Zhou Hailon. Zhou Hailon followed Song Shiyu's gaze and looked at Gu Lingqing. She ran over and shouted, Brother, have you seen Ah Qing? He's tall and about 185 meters. He's very handsome. He's an outstanding Special Forces soldier and also my boyfriend. I can't find him. Gu Lingqing frowned and looked deeply at Zhou Hailon who had gone crazy again. Lingqing, what's going on with Hailon? Song Shiyu asked in confusion. Lingqing? You're Ah Qing? Why do you pretend that you don't know me? You saw that I was burned in the fire. Don't you want me anymore? Zhou Hailon held Gu Lingqing's arm. Big drops of tears rolled down her face. If you don't want me, I don't want to live anymore. What's the point of living? She said and ran towards the wall. Gu Lingqing held her back. Zhou Hailon fell into Gu Lingqing's arms because of the force. She sobbed and begged. Ah Qing, don't leave me. I only have you. Without you, I really don't have any meaning to live. Gu Lingqing looked forward. I'll ask someone to send you back to rest. You're too tired. You need to rest. I'm not tired. I want to stay here with you. Zhou Hailon hugged Gu Lingqing tightly. Chapter 217. If Zhou Hailon appeared when he didn't know Bai Ye, maybe he would let her stay and take care of her. However, Bai Ye appeared in his life. If he let her stay, Bai Ye would definitely be angry and sad. He couldn't turn a blind eye to it. He cared about Bai Ye's thoughts. Hailon, this place isn't suitable for you, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. How is it not suitable? When I was locked up, I thought about you every day. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 8 years have passed. I thought that I would spend every minute with you in the future to make up for the 8 years we didn't spend together. You have to go now? I'm leaving? Zhou Hailon began to lose his composure again. Gu Lingqing. Gu Tianhang shouted his full name with the dignity of a father. He lectured. Zhou Hailon was burned half of her body to protect you. She was even captured by the enemy. You know how ruthless those enemies are. When she was rescued, there was not a single part of her body that was unharmed. Her mind was also in disorder. She was locked up for treatment. Every skin graft was extremely painful. This is not something that ordinary people can endure. He and Zhou Hailon knew each other first. You were a couple before. Zhou Hailon did nothing wrong. If you abandon her, you will be heartless. Who is Baya? She's just a bitch who overestimates herself. She was married before. She seduced you before she got divorced. It shows how low her moral character is. She's a shameless slut. Even if she marries you, she won't be content. I can't afford to lose my face. If you want to be with her, you won't have any political future. Don't be so obsessed that you don't know what you should do. Ah Qing, do you like someone else? Zhou Hailon's chest heaved up and down as he asked. She and I are married. I'm sorry. I'll get someone to send you back. Gu Lingqing turned around and ordered the orderly. Get someone to send her back. She'll stay here today. I will make the decision, Gu Tianhang ordered. Gu Lingqing didn't look back. He strode out, and his cold expression became more resolute. He could take care of Zhou Hailon for the rest of her life and help her recover, but he knew his own heart. It had already begun to shift. All he could think about was Baya. Her every word, every expression, could tug at his heart and change his mood. He called Lieutenant Colonel Song and asked, Where did she ask you to send her? Lieutenant Colonel Song looked at Baya, who was asleep in the back seat. Send her to Water Moon International. Send him to Blue Sky Courtyard. I'll go there now. Gu Lingqing ordered. He hung up the phone without hesitation and called the director. Where are you now? Chief, I've already left. I'm on my way to the military base, the director said respectfully. You'll pass by the paddock on your way to the military base. Wait for me at the east gate of the paddock. I'll be there in about half an hour, Gu Lingqing ordered. He got in the car and drove at a speed of 180 kilometers per hour. Zhou Hailon looked in the direction where Gu Lingqing left. Ah Qing, don't you want me anymore? Don't worry. I'll make the decision. He can't be with that B*TCH, Gu Tianhang said with certainty. Zhou Hailon looked at Gu Tianhang pitifully. You'll live here from now on, Gu Tianhang said seriously. Song Shiyu frowned and looked at Gu Tianhang, then at Zhou Hailon. Zhou Hailon was arranged to rest in Gu Lingqing's room. Will we put too much pressure on Lingqing? Song Shiyu said worriedly. Anyway, he can't marry that B*TCH, Baya. She's Xiong Dani's daughter-in-law. She's already a pair of used shoes. Xiong Dani is Su Zheng's sister-in-law. I can't afford to lose face like this. She knew that we kidnapped her, but she still threatened us. How can she be my daughter-in-law? Zhou Hailon is different. She's made contributions and fought for the honor of the country. She's also Lingqing's comrade. Now that she's disfigured, Lingqing still wants to marry her. He can establish his authority and make a big deal out of it. Maybe this time, Lingqing can become the president, Gu Tianhang analyzed. Although I don't like Baya, I also feel that this Zhou Hailon is a little strange. She's not my ideal daughter-in-law. It's a pity for Xiaoling. Actually, I like Xiaoling the most. Song Shiyu sighed. What can we do if your son doesn't like Su Xiaoling? The marriage has been delayed again and again, and he even threatened us with a broken finger. Now, it's the Su family who proposed to cancel the engagement, not the Gu family. Besides, the love between a man and a woman doesn't last long. What we want is long-term benefits. Let's wait and see, Gu Tianhang said in a low voice. Said. Song Shiyu sensed that Gu Tianhang had other plans. She suddenly felt a chill in her heart. The love between a man and a woman doesn't last long. Does that mean between them? Therefore, she and Gu Tianhang had nothing to do with love, but she gave birth to his child and wasted her youth. Song Shiyu lowered her head. I'll stay here to accompany Zhou Hailun. After all, the orderly is a man, so it's not convenient. It's not convenient for you to stay here either. Since Zhou Hailun is going to stay here for a long time, he definitely needs a female orderly. I'll just give the order. You should go back with me. The company still needs you. It's a waste of your talents to take care of someone, Gu Tianhang said sternly. Should I thank you for giving me such a high evaluation? Or should I thank myself for being so capable and having a good background, so that I can become your wife, Gu Tianheng's woman? Song Shiyu mocked herself. The corners of her mouth twitched. Without looking at Gu Tianhang, she walked out of the room. Go. Gu Tianhang frowned. I don't know what's wrong with you. It's not that you don't know. You don't even want to understand why I'm going crazy. Gu Tianhang. People's hearts are mutual, Song Shiyu said dejectedly. I'm talking to you about Ling Qing. You're talking to me about people's hearts. Are you going against me? Gu Tianhang said angrily. Song Shiyu couldn't be bothered to argue with him. He was used to being high and mighty. He never gave others any leeway. Even if it was his own fault, in his eyes, it was someone else's fault. He was strong, domineering, and a master. I'll go back first. Song Shiyu lowered her eyes and walked out of the door. Baiya woke up. She felt a hand on her waist. She turned around and saw Gu Lingqing sleeping beside her. There was a drop of water on her hand. Her mind was blank for a moment. Why was he sleeping beside her? Why was there a drop of medicine on her hand? This was Gu Lingqing's blue sky courtyard. The moment Baiya moved, Gu Lingqing woke up. He looked at the drop of medicine in Baiya's hand. There was still half a bottle left. Chapter 218. Why am I here? Baiya asked in surprise. She remembered that Lieutenant Colonel Song had sent it to Shuiwei International. Besides, wasn't he with Zhou Hailun? Gu Lingqing saw the doubt in her eyes and explained patiently. I asked Lieutenant Colonel Song to send it here. You still have a fever and are in a coma. I have found a doctor to see you. I have changed the medicine for your chest wound. It hasn't healed yet. You are a doctor. Why don't you care about yourself? The more she said, the more distressed Gu Lingqing was. Baiya was too competitive, so she had to bear everything alone. Even if she couldn't bear it, she didn't say anything. Baiya understood how she came to Blue Sky Courtyard, but she didn't understand. Aren't you in the military? Where are Zhou Hailun and your parents? She asked coldly. Gu Lingqing's eyes darkened. He turned off the alarm clock on his phone and put the phone on the table beside the bed. He sat up and looked at Baiya with burning eyes. I have news for you. Baiya looked at Gu Lingqing suspiciously. What news? She wanted to sit up, but Gu Lingqing was afraid that she would pull the wound that was not easy to heal, so he helped her and put the pillow behind her waist. Thank you, Baiya said politely. There's no need for thanks between us, Gu Lingqing said. Baiya lowered her head and didn't say anything. He didn't like her unpredictable feeling, as if she would disappear at any time. The director of the Civil Affairs Bureau called me and said that our information had been recorded into the computer. Now we can see our registered information on the internet. You and I are legally married, Gu Lingqing said. Baiya looked at Gu Lingqing in disbelief. We are legally married now? How is that possible? I tore the marriage certificate. Now, all the information will be recorded into the computer. It doesn't matter if the marriage certificate is gone, just print another one. Look, it's exactly the same as ours. Gu Lingqing opened the drawer of the bedside table, took out the marriage certificate, and handed it to Baiya. Baiya's hands trembled as she took the marriage certificate and opened it. In the photo, both of them were smiling sweetly. She felt that the two people laughing were not them at all. She clearly tore it up, and Su Jiaran also said that as long as she tore up the marriage certificate, there would be no records in the Civil Affairs Bureau. How could this be? Gu Lingqing. Baiya looked at Gu Lingqing expectantly. I disagree. Gu Lingqing rejected Baiya. He knew that she didn't want to get married. Baiya, you can stay where you are. Even if you retreat, I'll chase after you. But don't hide. I'm afraid that I won't be able to find you. Baya frowned and turned her face away. We're husband and wife. If there's any problem, we'll solve it together, Gu Lingqing said softly. Women are the softest in the world, and also the toughest people in the world. If they loved a man, as long as the man was a little bit good, they would contribute their whole world. As long as the man had the intention to make peace, if there was love, they would forget the scars. A man who didn't love someone, even if the man lost his life for her, would not go to his side. Marriage, Zhou Hailan, illness, had tortured her very much, and she had no strength to fight against fate. When she couldn't make a decision immediately, she would give herself more time. After all, life wouldn't end tomorrow. Time would dilute everything and verify everything. So when she was troubled, confused and hesitant, she would let time settle it. Didn't you say that Zhou Hailan had a mental problem last time? If you trust me, I can help her, Baya said. Gu Lingqing smiled and held Baya's naked hand tightly. With your help, she'll recover quickly. You didn't agree to it before, Baya blurted out. Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply. I didn't know that they came to my place. I've already told Zhou Hailan that we're married. Baya looked down and took a deep breath. She looked at Gu Lingqing. Actually, it's easier to understand a child's emotions. Their expressions aren't complicated, and it's easy to guess their real thoughts. For example, when they pass by an ice cream shop, they'll want ice cream. If they don't give it to them, they'll cry and even hit people. What do you think a parent should do at this time? Baya asked. Gu Lingqing thought about it seriously. If it's a boy, I won't give it to him. If he cries and throws a tantrum, I'll make him stand upright. If he hits people, I'll teach him a lesson. If it's a girl, I'll pamper her a little more, Gu Lingqing said honestly. The child is still young, so they don't have a big reason to convince the other party to buy ice cream. Crying and throwing a tantrum is their only strategy. They tell their parents that they want it, and they're unhappy. They're using their parents' love. If they buy ice cream because of their crying, then the crying will be worse the next time. Because they know that this method is effective, Baya said calmly. Gu Lingqing understood what she was trying to say. Baya smiled. You treated Zhou Hailan the same way. As long as you cry, you'll get what you want. Then, the crying will only be worse the next time. Then what do you think I should do? Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply. Why do you think parents don't buy ice cream for their children? Baya asked. The sugar content is too high. It's not good for the body if it's cold. Maybe they think it's too expensive, Gu Lingqing guessed. The child is still young. Their outlook on the world, life, and values haven't been formed yet. Parents are guardians who will protect them. They know what's good for the child and what's bad for the child. Gu Lingqing, what do you think is good for Zhou Hailan? Baya asked to guide her. I want her to find her confidence, live an independent life, and find the person she really needs, Gu Lingqing expressed. Baya smiled. If the following words were said to an unfamiliar patient's family member, she would say it very easily. However, the patient was Gu Lingqing, and the patient was his ex-girlfriend. If she were to say it as his current girlfriend, it would make people think that she was narrow-minded. So, she didn't say it out loud. If Zhou Hailan doesn't like me, I can recommend someone to you. He's a legend in our school, my senior. He became famous before I did, and he's very powerful. I trust you, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Baya's eyes became clear. She said what she didn't finish saying. Then, I request that you don't take care of Zhou Hailan personally. Don't give her any hope. Can you do that? Only when you give her despair can she find the person she really needs. She will also become independent and become confident in the pursuit and support of others. Chapter 219. Okay. Gu Lingqing answered. It was just a simple word, but she felt like a surging wave hitting a rock. No matter how big the ice was, it would be broken. It was a trust that she had gone through so much. Finally, there was a little warmth in her heart. Baya's cold expression melted a little. She lowered her eyes and slowly leaned against the back of the bed. Are you going to lie down? Gu Lingqing asked and immediately took the pillow away. Baya held his hand and stopped him. She softened her voice and asked, "What's wrong with you?" She softened her voice and asked, "Have you had dinner? I'll cook for you later. You are a patient. It's not appropriate for me to ask you to cook. Let's eat out tonight. Is there anything you want to eat?" Gu Lingqing asked worriedly. Baya thought for a while. When I was studying in the United States, what I wanted to eat the most were pot chicken, roast duck, and chopped pepperfish head. I remember there was a very famous restaurant near my school. Do you want to go and eat together? Baya invited. Gu Lingqing smiled. Okay. I'm quite interested in the dishes you mentioned. Besides, do you know what my favorite dish is? Baya shook her head honestly. When Gu Lingqing was with her, he was not a picky eater. Whatever she cooked, he would eat it. He always respected her. I only know that you don't eat crayfish. You are allergic to crayfish. Baya recalled. My favorite dish is braised pork with preserved vegetables. It goes well with rice. But in order not to let others know that I like it, I don't eat it in the military. Do you know how to cook braised pork with preserved vegetables? Gu Lingqing asked. Baya didn't expect him to be so ordinary. His favorite dish was braised pork with preserved vegetables instead of delicacies. She nodded. I know how to cook it. My braised pork with preserved vegetables is sweet. Is it okay? Baya tested his taste. Okay. In the future, when we eat at home, I will also cook some. We can cook together. Gu Lingqing smiled slightly. His smile was faint. That was his personality. But when he smiled, he looked very good. Then I'll be the head chef. I'll have to trouble you to be my assistant. Baya took advantage of him. Sure. Gu Lingqing sat next to her and leaned against the back of the bed. She looked at her with a burning gaze and said, "You will definitely be an outstanding mother." Baya's heart sank. Have you found our child? Gu Lingqing shook his head. No news at all. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack. There was a time when I thought that he was already dead, but since I didn't see his body, there was always a glimmer of hope and luck. Baya's expression dimmed. Let's have a few more. I will protect our children. I like both boys and girls. When I heard the story about the children eating ice cream, I had a longing for it, Gu Lingqing said with her eyes shining. She was 28 this year, and it was time for her to have a child. However, she had to stop taking medicine. She was a little worried that she would get sick if she stopped taking medicine. His cell phone rang. She looked for her bag. Gu Lingqing took out her bag from the bedside table, took out the phone and passed it to her. Baya saw a series of numbers, but she knew that this number was Cheng Jinrong's. It was probably LV Xingzhou who asked him to call. She had been waiting for this call for a long time. Xiaoya, it's Cheng Jinrong. Have you eaten? Cheng Jinrong asked enthusiastically. Baya wanted to go out for lunch with Gu Lingqing. I'm going out for lunch soon. I have an appointment with someone. What's the matter? Ah. Cheng Jinrong didn't expect Baya to reject him tactfully. Are you free tomorrow? Let's have lunch together at noon. Secretary LV still has some details to discuss with you. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. Let's meet at Watermoon International's Tianyu Tea House. Baya ended the call. Who are you meeting at 11 a.m. tomorrow? Gu Lingqing tried to make her tone calm, but she couldn't hide the jealousy in her voice. I told you before. It's a client. You're not unfamiliar with this client, LV Xingzhou. Baya didn't hide anything. How do you know him? Gu Lingqing was surprised. It was a coincidence. His son has a mental illness, and he happened to find me. How's your investigation with LV Liangcheng? Baya asked. LV Liangcheng was promoted by LV Xingzhou. Jinyang City is an ancient city, and many places are layers of ruins. After LV Liangcheng became the mayor, he secretly established a construction company. On the surface, he built houses in areas that could be developed, but in fact, he sold the excavated cultural relics. There's evidence of LV Liangcheng's crimes, and the cultural relics he unearthed are all mixed up in the black market. It's only a matter of time before LV Liangcheng steps down. However, we can't find any connection between him and other people, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. 3 years have passed. I think it's time to control LV Liang Cheng. If he escapes, it'll be a waste of manpower and resources. Moreover, it's obvious that other people are more difficult to deal with than LV Liang Cheng. LV Xingzhou might be a breakthrough, Baiya analyzed. LV Xingzhou is indeed more difficult to deal with than LV Liang Cheng. He's meticulous and meticulous. It won't be easy to break through from his side. More importantly, it's too dangerous for you to go alone, Gu Lingqing said worriedly. I promised Tang Xiaojiu that I would help him find the murderer. Otherwise, I wouldn't be with you. Now that 3.5 years have passed, I haven't done anything. I must go, Baiya said firmly. Gu Lingqing frowned. He didn't have any past memories, so he didn't remember the details of his time with Baiya. He found out that LV Liang Cheng was related to the Tangqian village massacre case, but he didn't know about Baiya's promise to Tang Xiaojiu. In these 3 years, he had too many things to do, so he didn't pay much attention to the Tangqian village incident. I know, I'll send someone to protect you, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baiya remembered that when she went to Jinyang City alone, he also secretly sent someone to protect her. At that time, she was very touched. If you send someone, it'll make LV Xingzhou suspicious, and I'll be in more danger. Don't worry, I'll protect myself, Baiya promised. If there's danger, it'll be too late. I agree to let you go, but I'll send someone to protect you. That way I'll be at ease. Baiya didn't want to argue with him over this issue. Go ahead, but don't let me know who it is. I'm hungry, let's go eat. Your medicine isn't finished yet. Gu Lingqing glanced at the medicine bottle. Baiya pulled out the needle smoothly. I'm a doctor. I know what dosage is enough. Let's go. Gu Lingqing held her hand with heartache. Looking at the needle hole on the back of her hand, he said with heartache, Baiya, you'll hurt yourself if you pull it out like that. I'll pull it out too. Baiya smiled. She was used to being alone. She was afraid that she had someone to rely on, but when she didn't, she would rather die. I know. Let's go. You have more money so you treat. Baiya walked in front. Chapter 220. The place Baiya went to was near the university. The restaurant was in an alley, so they couldn't drive in. They had to walk past the university. At the gate of Baiya's alma mater, students were coming in and out. It had been almost 7 years since she graduated. Seeing her alma mater again gave her an inexplicable sense of familiarity. Do you know what I wanted the most when I was in university? Baiya asked Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing looked at Baiya and guessed, graduation. Baiya smiled, her eyes curved. You're right. I wanted to leave this university. Why? Gu Lingqing didn't understand. You should have good grades. Actually, I think it's easy to change a person's outlook on life and values in university. Because of the gap between the rich and the poor, because of the psychological gap, because of the hurt and love, because of the inability to live, because of the colorful life, because of the friends, because of all kinds of temptations. After leaving university, the change in outlook on life, values, and the world is mostly due to a major change in life, Baiya sighed. I remember that every university has a counseling room with some part-time psychologists. Gu Lingqing followed up on Baiya's topic of conversation. The people from the Mu Shaoxing Research Center have counseling in almost all the universities. But actually, many people don't have a strong awareness of this. Most people do it because they want to save face, and some don't think they have a mental illness. Do you know how many times more people commit suicide because of depression this year than 10 years ago? Baiya and Gu Lingqing chatted naturally. I don't know much about this, but I think there are more and more people with mental problems nowadays. Last time I listened to a class, the general meaning was that everyone has mental problems, more or less. 2 out of 10 people will have depression. I'm very curious, why did you go from a gynecologist to a psychiatrist? Become a psychiatrist? Gu Lingqing asked. A student rushed out of the university on a bicycle. Gu Lingqing grabbed Baiya's waist and pulled her to his side. Baiya didn't refuse, and he didn't let go of her hand either. The light from the street lamp fell on the two of them, gilding them with a warm glow. Baiya looked at Gu Lingqing. There were several reasons why she chose to study psychology. Firstly, she met Mu Shaoxing by chance. Secondly, her mother was mentally ill. Thirdly, she felt that she had a big mental problem. It was not just depression. She wanted to save herself. However, she didn't want to tell him that she was mentally ill. Various reasons. When my mother recovers, I'll take you to see her. Okay, Gu Lingqing answered and didn't say anything else. Baya didn't say anything. She quietly enjoyed the beauty of being together. The wind blowing on her face wasn't as cold as she had imagined. Gu Lingqing took off his suit jacket and put it on her. Baya gathered her clothes and said softly, "Thank you." He held her hand. "How far is that place from here?" "It's not far. It should be here." Baya looked around and frowned slightly. The area around the school had changed a lot. Many high-rise buildings had been built, and the small shops from before were gone. "I remember there's a small shop here. It's opened by a husband and wife. They have a little daughter. She's very cute and chubby. She can't tell us apart. You tell her that you're bad, and she'll angrily reply that I'm bad. Their crucian carp tofu is very delicious. The freshly slaughtered crucian carp is cooked in a white broth. It's especially delicious. It's only 10 yuan. Rice is 1 yuan, and you can eat your fill for 11 yuan. Especially the winter gourd ribs. The ribs are cooked in advance, and the taste is especially good. It's only 15 yuan a bowl," Baya recalled. "What you said makes me want to eat it," Gu Lingqing replied with a deadpan expression. Baya smiled. "Unfortunately, we can't get chicken in a jar today. You've made a wasted trip." "Aren't there many restaurants here? You can just find one." Gu Lingqing dragged her to a restaurant that was 180 square meters. There were many people having dinner. There was an NBA game on the TV in the restaurant, and a group of hot-blooded male students surrounded it. Baya instantly felt like she had returned to her university days. She chose a seat at the back and wiped the table with a napkin. The waitress of the restaurant came over. "Pretty lady, handsome guy, what would you like to eat?" Baya saw the waitress, and her eyes flashed with surprise. "Lady boss, it's you. Your restaurant has become so big now." "Ho ho. The previous shop was demolished. This shop was bought by our family," the lady boss said honestly. "Boss, your family cooks good food. You should have bought a bigger shop. Do you still have tofu crucian carp and winter gourd ribs?" Baya asked. Yes. These are our signature dishes. What else do you want?" The lady boss passed the menu over. "Do you have braised pork with preserved vegetables and winter gourd chicken?" Baya asked. "Yes, we have both." "Then I'll have tofu crucian carp, winter gourd ribs, winter gourd chicken, braised pork with preserved vegetables, and a big bottle of Sprite. The fish must be alive," Baya ordered. "All right." The lady boss went to the kitchen. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing smiled, and his facial features softened. "What are you smiling at?" Baya was confused. "When I first met you, I felt that you were very cold. You didn't have a smile on your face when dealing with people and things. Even if you did smile, it was with alienation and defensiveness. I really wanted to know more about you. The more I interacted with you, the more I realized that you have a fiery heart. When you're passionate, you can melt ice and snow," Gu Lingqing said seriously. "Let me give you some general knowledge. It's like this. Actually, everyone has many personalities hidden in them. Some are kind, some are dark, some are cold, and some are passionate. Because of the difference in mood, character, purpose, and environment, they will show different aspects of their personalities. Let me give you an example. There was once a case of dismemberment that caused a sensation in B country. The murderer was a professor. This professor was cultured and refined. He was knowledgeable. His lectures were lively and interesting. He was kind and charitable. He was very handsome. He treated his wife very well and loved his son very much. He treated people sincerely and had a mellow temper. Everyone felt that he was almost a perfect person. On the day of the crime, it was raining. He was on duty, and his wife and son were traveling abroad. He was browsing adult websites in the dormitory and happened to be seduced by the campus belle. He slept with the girl. After sleeping with her, the girl recorded everything and forced the professor to marry her. The professor was so angry that he killed the girl. His method of committing the crime was cruel and perfect. No one found out that it was him. 20 years later, he turned himself in. Gu Lingqing listened to her patiently and kissed her on the forehead. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing. At this moment, you're facing me. I kissed you, and this is your reaction? Gu Lingqing was a little disappointed. Baya supported her head with one hand and pointed at the table in the corner. Gu Lingqing looked in the direction where Baya was pointing. Chapter 221. Gu Lingqing didn't quite understand what Baya meant. Did she not want to answer his question directly, or did she just want him to look? He frowned slightly and kissed her lips. Baya stepped back. That's not what I meant. Then what do you mean? Gu Lingqing asked. Let me tell you something. Do you know why college students are more likely to do intimate things like hugging and living as if there's no one else around? Baya asked. She was indeed avoiding his question. Gu Lingqing's eyes turned cold. Say it. It was just a simple word, but it was full of harshness and vaguely displeasure. Baya could ignore it. She analyzed it from a professional point of view. Firstly, it's the influence of the atmosphere. This kind of hugging and kissing behavior is common in school. No one will think it's awkward and special. Secondly, this is the age where people are the most impulsive. Hormones are easily triggered, and they are controlled by some kind of primitive impulse. Thirdly, they haven't really stepped into society. They have experienced fewer setbacks and experiences, so they don't think much. They don't care about other people's opinions and do whatever they want. Does what you're saying have anything to do with me? Gu Lingqing was still sulking and looked at her with burning eyes. Baya looked back at him and didn't hide. Gu Lingqing actually understood what she was trying to say. Baya, I think sometimes you like to say half of what you say and let others guess the other half. Baya smiled. You actually guessed it, right? It might not be so hurtful to express it tactfully. Gu Lingqing pressed the back of her head and kissed her lips. Baya didn't push him away. His red tongue entered her mouth. It was strong and fierce, no less than the pair of students. He swallowed all of her breath and poured his own breath into her body. Gu Lingqing only let go of her when the lady boss came to serve the dishes. Baya blushed. Gu Lingqing raised the corner of her mouth. Firstly, the atmosphere here is really good. Secondly, the impulse doesn't lie in the age, but in the partner. Thirdly, kissing you was a decision I made after careful consideration. Baya turned her face away. Her heart was beating too fast. For a moment just now, it really felt like the feeling of first love. She got rid of all distracting thoughts, but when she thought of the kiss in public, she still felt very shy. The lady boss was already used to this kind of kissing scene. She smiled at Baya and said, "The drinks are here. Let's have the jar chicken and braised pork with preserved vegetables first. As for the other two dishes, you can wait for another 20 minutes. Now that we've opened 2 pots, they'll be ready very quickly." "Thank you, lady boss," Baya said embarrassedly. Gu Lingqing opened the can and poured some for Baya. "How did it feel to kiss you just now?" Baya felt guilty. She had always been thin-skinned. She couldn't say it out loud, so she took a big sip of the drink. "I felt pretty good. It was very free," Gu Lingqing said to himself. He picked up the drink and took a sip. Baya looked at him. He was looking at her with a burning gaze. His eyes were filled with her. It was like a whirlpool, sucking her in and never letting her out again. The cheers of the students rang out. Baya felt awkward. She looked away and looked at the TV. The Lakers scored. "Do you like to watch basketball?" Gu Lingqing asked. "When I was in America, I went to watch a few NBA games," Baya said casually. Her gaze was still on the game. Gu Lingqing didn't change his expression. "Which team do you like?" "I don't have a particular preference. The game I watched was between the Lakers and the Clippers. The Lakers won. I just wanted to feel the atmosphere and observe the expressions of the characters," Baya explained. "For homework." Gu Lingqing guessed. "Did you notice anything after watching it?" Baya smiled and looked at Gu Lingqing. "Yes, I wrote a thesis and published it. Not only did I get a good fee, but I was also praised by my tutor. After that, many companies approached me and I earned a lot of money." Gu Lingqing liked the confident smile on her face. Her confidence was gentle like water. It made his soul happy. How did you earn money? I'm curious. Actually, this has to do with a country's culture and acceptance level. In our country, there aren't many people who accept psychology. Even if some people know that they have psychological problems, they won't go to see a doctor. It's the same for depression. But overseas, it's common for them to see a psychologist. That's why there are many psychological clinics. After I reported it, many sales companies would invite me to teach their employees. I understand the hearts of customers and use their micro-expressions to reflect their real needs. After I became famous, the FBI also invited me to help. After solving a few cold cases, I often appeared in the newspapers and on TV. I'm well known in the industry. After that, many successful people would meet me alone. Baya gave a simple introduction. You have the ability to enjoy this achievement. It's what you should do. Gu Lingqing felt that it was a pity that he didn't experience such an exciting process with her. He ate a mouthful of braised pork with preserved vegetables. Baya observed his expression. She couldn't tell whether he thought it was delicious or not. For most people, there was a small part that was different from ordinary people and hard to understand. Baya lowered her head to eat. Maybe she hadn't eaten well for a few days, or maybe the food here had the taste of her memories. Before the tofu crucian-carp and winter melon ribs were served, she finished a bowl. When the tofu crucian-carp and winter melon ribs were served, she ate another bowl. Gu Lingqing saw that she ate a lot and was in a good mood, so he ate 2 bowls with her. When I came, I saw many motels and hotels near the school. We'll stay here tonight. Gu Lingqing was stating the facts. Luckily, Baya had already finished eating, or she would have spat out her food. Stay here. I'm tired. Gu Lingqing only said 2 simple words. How about I drive? Baya asked tentatively. It's tiring to drive. Baya. Because it wasn't a Friday or Saturday, there were many rooms near the university. Gu Lingqing brought Baya to an express hotel. He took out his ID, not his military ID. The receptionist looked at Gu Lingqing's ID, then at Gu Lingqing. She looked at Baya's ID, then at Baya. She had a strange expression on her face and checked them in. The expression on the girl's face just now was very strange. Why? Gu Lingqing asked. We don't look like students at our age. Her expression was strange. She must have thought of a lot of abnormal information. Baya didn't care and said with a smile. What abnormal information? Gu Lingqing looked at Baya and asked. He looked calm, but a little guilty. Was the message he was trying to convey that obvious? For example, having an affair. Baya explained. Chapter 222. Gu Lingqing frowned slightly and held Baya's waist, pulling her to his side. Can't a student's parent do it? They were clearly legally married, okay? Even if he wanted her, it was only natural. Baya chuckled. How can a student's parent be so young? A student's brother and sister-in-law. Is this okay? The address on my ID is not far from here. Less than an hour away. I don't live at home and came here. It's normal for her to think wrongly. Gu Lingqing turned around and pressed Baya against the wall. Then do something. My wound is not healed yet. Baya rejected him tactfully. I know how not to hurt you. Gu Lingqing lowered his voice and said in a hoarse voice. Baya blushed all the way to her ears. Gu Lingqing did not wait for her to think clearly. He carried her into the room and went straight to the bathroom. The wound is already scabbed. I can wash it myself. Baya shyly wanted to get down. It's not like I haven't seen it before. I'll wash it for you. Gu Lingqing said domineeringly and put Baya down. Can I take a bath? Baya shook her head. It's best not to do it before the scar falls off. You can only use the shower to wash it. Okay. Gu Lingqing responded and unbuttoned her shirt. Most of it had healed, except for the deepest part of her chest. He touched it with his finger and brushed it. How did you get hurt here? When I found out that you went to see Zhou Hailan, I lost my temper and smashed everything in your room. I tripped myself while walking and happened to hit a piece of porcelain. Baya laughed as she said, "Did you think that you deserve it?" But when she thought of the situation at that time, her heart still ached. In terms of dealing with relationships, she had 2 failed relationships. So, she was more sensitive and less confident. She knew she had a problem. It's also my problem. I was shocked to find out that Harland was still alive. When I went to see her, I realized that she was very different from before. Half of her body was burned in the fire, and she was imprisoned by the enemy for a few years. After she was rescued, she kept looking for information and went crazy. First of all, I was afraid that you would be angry, so I didn't tell you. Secondly, she wasn't in the right state of mind. I waited until she fell asleep before I left. I didn't know you'd hurt yourself. I'm sorry. Gu Lingqing apologized sincerely. Bai Ya's eyes were a little red. For me, it's better for her to be alive than dead. I should feel lucky, Bai Ya said meaningfully. Huh. Gu Lingqing was confused. She just smiled, took the initiative to wrap her arms around the back of Gu Lingqing's neck, and gave her a kiss. Her lips were cold and unusually soft. It was rare for her to take the initiative. He held her waist, pulled her to his side, and deepened the kiss. His breathing gradually became uneven. Her heart was pressed against her heart. A certain part had also awakened, and it was pressed against her abdomen. Baya closed her eyes, and her eyelashes trembled slightly. It was not until she was panting from the kiss that Gu Lingqing let go of her. After the 2 of them showered, he carried her to the bed. Baya thought he would come to her directly. He had always been domineering, tough and domineering. But he didn't, and his hand was on her knee. Baya was shy, and she turned her face away. Because of nervousness, her hands were clenched into fists. He kissed her wound. Baya looked at him. Gu Lingqing smiled softly and stroked her cheek with his hand. Although I've forgotten how I made you fall in love with me in the past, I may be too domineering and tyrannical, but I will seriously consider what you say. I will also try my best to achieve what you want. You can quarrel with me, but you can. You can quarrel with me, but we're already married, and divorce is impossible. Do you know that? Bai Ya's eyes were full of tears, sparkling under the light, with a shimmering luster. He had said similar words to her before he lost his memory. This Gu Lingqing overlapped with the man she loved in the past. Thank you for tolerating my willfulness and stubbornness, Bai Ya said, choking. Gu Lingqing kissed her lips. I'm the one thanking you, and I'm also thanking fate for giving me a chance. He was talking about the fact that they were married. But she didn't really thank fate. The past was too hurtful, so as long as there was a little hope of happiness, she would want to grasp it. Women were really contradictory creatures. In the end, sensibility won over rationality. Gu Lingqing's kiss gradually moved downwards, past her collarbone, wound, abdomen, and then downwards. Bai Ya hadn't had sex with him for a long time, so she was especially sensitive. As soon as he touched her, she reacted. Almost subconsciously, she pushed his shoulder. He held her hand and kissed her deeply. The room was filled with charming sounds, delicate and especially pleasant to the ears. He waited for her to first, before he took her. Afraid that he would press on her wound that had just formed a scar, she let him sit on his abdomen, using the strength of his arm. He had wanted to do it inside. He wanted to have a child with her that belonged to them. Alarmed, Bai Ya pushed him away. Gu Lingqing was still disappointed. What's wrong? I'm not in the safe period, Bai Ya explained. Bai Ya explained. When she met his cold eyes, she added, I've taken medicine. It's not suitable for pregnancy. It will make the baby deformed. Gu Lingqing suddenly understood. He wanted a child with her so much that he didn't think. He kissed her on the lips and put her down next to him. He put one hand on her waist and the other on his head as he looked at her. Bai Ya felt uncomfortable under his gaze. Thinking of what happened just now, was it too that hard to describe? Do you want to go back to the military early tomorrow? Bai Ya changed the topic. No, I have a meeting in the afternoon. I can go back after lunch. Oh, then I'll sleep first. I'm a little sleepy. Bai Ya turned her back to him and closed her eyes. Gu Lingqing didn't say anything and pulled her into his arms to sleep. His phone rang. Seeing that it was Song Shiyu calling, Gu Lingqing hung up immediately. He didn't want to pick up. Lieutenant Colonel Song called again. Gu Lingqing still didn't want to pick up. He could guess what it was. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing. Just as Gu Lingqing was about to mute his phone, the orderly called. "Pick it up, it's okay," Baya said gently. Gu Lingqing picked up the call. "Chief, bad news. Zhou Hailan committed suicide," the orderly reported. "Has she been sent to the hospital?" "She has, but she's very unstable. She wants to see you." "It's useless to see me." Gu Lingqing frowned. When Baya heard Gu Lingqing's refusal, a kind of emotion flowed freely in her heart. He listened to what she said before. He just needed to do it. She didn't want to turn him into an unjust person. "Lingqing, go." "It's okay," Baya said gently. Gu Lingqing looked at her in confusion. Baya smiled. "I trust you." Gu Lingqing held Baya's hand. Because she trusted him, he was even more certain of his decision. He loved her and didn't want her to get hurt again. Chapter 223. Baya followed Gu Lingqing out. When she checked out of the room, she saw the strange look on the waiter's face. Baya blushed and went out of the room first. Napkins were thrown everywhere in the room. She hadn't tidied them up yet. She felt like someone found out that she had done something bad. They were husband and wife. It was normal, wasn't it? Gu Lingqing checked out of the room and said, "We are husband and wife." The waiter was speechless. He came out and opened the door of the passenger seat. Baya sat in the car. Gu Lingqing walked past the front of the car and got into the driver's seat. Baya had already put on the seatbelt. Gu Lingqing drove the car. "Can you tell me more about Zhou Hailan? I want to know how to treat her." Baya looked at Gu Lingqing and said, "Hailan was an orphan. She joined the army a long time ago. She was very hardworking and performed very well. We completed a few missions together and all of them were successful. Then, there was one time when we were rescuing a politician. There was a spy among us and all 8 of us died. I, Zhou Hailan, and that politician were trapped in a sea of fire. She helped me and the politician to leave first. After I rescued the politician, the sea of fire was already in ruins. I found a burnt body inside. The finger of the body was wearing the ring that I gave her. It turned out that she didn't die. She was captured by the enemy and treated inhumanely for 5 years. When she was rescued, her mind was already broken. All these years, she has been locked in the laboratory for treatment," Gu Lingqing said simply. Baya had heard such a story before. That was not what she wanted. "She has been locked up for treatment for 3 years. Why did she only come to you now?" Baya was confused. She had just recovered. There was a fire in the laboratory and she escaped in the chaos, Gu Lingqing explained. Baya was silent. She knew the other person who went on the mission with them. It was Xia He. He was the spy that Gu Lingqing thought he was. Back then, Gu Lingqing had firmly believed that Xia He was a spy because only he and Xia He had survived that mission. She had never thought that Xia He was the spy. Now, there was a third person alive. Could the spy be the third person? She kept her suspicion to herself. Firstly, people would think that she was jealous of Zhou Hailan. Secondly, she had no evidence, so no one would believe her. Gu Lingqing made a phone call to confirm that Zhou Hailan had been sent to the military hospital. He brought Baya there. In the ward, Zhou Hailan had already fallen asleep. His wrist was bandaged and his hand was dripped with medicine. Song Shiyu and the 2 caretakers took care of her. When Song Shiyu saw Gu Lingqing and Baya together, her face darkened. She questioned Gu Lingqing, "Hailan committed suicide because of you. Aren't you afraid that Baya will break down again?" "Baya and I are husband and wife." Baya is a psychologist and can help treat Hailan, Gu Lingqing explained. "Do you think that Hailan will be willing to see Baya?" "I don't believe that she will treat Hailan well." "You can do it alone," Song Shiyu said resolutely. Gu Lingqing's eyes darkened. "Mom, do you want me to do nothing and take care of Zhou Hailan for the rest of her life?" Song Shiyu paused. She turned to look at Baya and pressured her. "Hailan's emotions are unstable now. Madam Bai, please leave." The term Madam Bai meant that she did not acknowledge Baya as her daughter-in-law. Baya did not want to go up to her and call her mother either. Madam, why do you think her emotions are unstable? Baya asked calmly. You already know the answer. She only has Lingqing in her heart. You're here with Lingqing to hurt her. Are you only happy when she dies? Song Shiyu said unhappily. So madam, are you saying that you want Gu Lingqing and Zhou Hailan to be together and I'll back out? Baya guessed. Song Shiyu frowned and did not say a word. Baya's lips twitched in mockery. Children cry because they want sweets. The adults will give them sweets. Then, every time a child wants sweets, he just has to cry. But as time goes by, the child's teeth will rot because of the sweets. The gatekeepers should know what they should do and what they shouldn't. Crying and committing suicide won't solve any problems. On the contrary, it will only make the problem worse and worse until it gets out of hand, Baya said coldly. Are you sure that's what a person would say? You're accusing Lingqing of being heartless and unjust. Do you want Lingqing to watch Hailan die and feel guilty for the rest of her life? Baya, if you love Lingqing, you should let go. Don't put her in a difficult position, Song Shiyu said angrily. She's not the one who's putting me in a difficult position now. It's all of you, Gu Lingqing interrupted and held Baya's hand tightly. Song Shiyu looked at Gu Lingqing in shock. If I didn't save her this time, she would have died. Have you forgotten what she has done? What did I teach you? You can't be ungrateful. I'm sorry. I can't see Zhou Hailan in my eyes. Compared to being ungrateful, I don't want to let Baya down, Gu Lingqing said coldly. Her face was expressionless and she sounded distant and mean. Baya's heart was pounding hard. Her eyes were filled with tears. She held Gu Lingqing's hand tightly too. We're helping Zhou Hailan in the right way. That's just the right way you think. In my eyes, letting Lingqing go back to Zhou Hailan and take care of Zhou Hailan is the right way. Then I'm sorry. Gu Lingqing and I are already married. It's impossible for us to get a divorce. You should know better than me that a military marriage can't be divorced, Baya said firmly. It's not that you can't get a divorce. If you agree to it, there's a way. I won't get a divorce, Gu Lingqing said with a deep voice. Song Shiyu blocked the door of the ward. Hailan is already very pitiful. You didn't see how crazy she was when she couldn't find you. Now that she has finally calmed down, you can be heartless to her but don't hurt her. We're not hurting her, we're treating her, Baya said on behalf of Gu Lingqing. Over-treating her is hurting her. Go back now. We'll talk when she wakes up, Song Shiyu said coldly. Gu Lingqing looked down at Baya. Baya nodded. Let's go back first. Song Shiyu clenched her fists tightly and stared at Baya's back. Gu Lingqing nodded and left with her. They returned to the car. You don't have to worry about my mother's attitude. My relationship with them has been very strained for the past 3 years, Gu Lingqing comforted Baya. It's okay. I know what she's thinking because I've seen her dark side. So not only does she hate me, she's also afraid of me. She doesn't understand why she could force me so easily 3 years ago, but now she can't. Your mother isn't a bad person. She just loves you and your future too much. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing. Chapter 224. He was willing to bring her here and defend her in front of his mother. She was already touched. She engraved the words he said in her heart. One was, the one who makes things difficult for me now is not her, but you guys. Another was, I can't see Zhou Hailan in my eyes. Compared to being ungrateful, I don't want to let Baya down even more. And another was, I won't leave. She remembered that a long time ago, she asked Gu Lingqing if he loved her. Gu Lingqing's answer was, I don't want to say it, I just want to do it. He really did it now, and it was not an empty promise. I misunderstood you before, I'm sorry, Baya apologized. What did you misunderstand me about? Gu Lingqing asked. I saw you carrying Zhou Hailan into the hotel, and I stayed across from you. I saw you ordering supper for her, and you left very, very late. I was not in a good mood. Baya lowered her head. Her heart still hurt when she thought about it. I carried her into the hotel because she fainted, and I ordered supper for her because she hadn't eaten for a few days, and she left very late. She was very scared and broke down at that time, and I didn't know what to do. So, I'm also at fault. I'm the one who should say sorry. Baya lowered her eyes and thought about it from another's perspective. If he was a man who had saved her, and was injured because of her, when that man was at his most pessimistic and desperate, she might have stayed to accompany him out of shock and sympathy. But she still felt uncomfortable. Forget it. He only had her in his heart, and no other women were good enough. He had already given in, and she didn't dare to be aggressive and force him into a corner. Since we are both at fault for what happened in the past, let's forget it. Today is the beginning of our new life. Baya put her other hand on the back of his hand. When a husband and wife are united, their sharpness can cut through gold. Gu Lingqing raised the corner of his mouth. He was really thankful to the heavens that they got married under such a coincidence. Only then could the conflict between him and Baya be eased. There was a fine line between heaven and hell. He would cherish the present. Go back and have a rest now. Do you want to go to the military area or the blue sky villa? Gu Lingqing asked. Let's stay in a hotel nearby. It's a bit far to go back. Besides, I think Zhou Hailan will want to see you after she wakes up. It'll be convenient for us to see her, Baya analyzed. Gu Lingqing was silent. After thinking for a while, he replied seriously, I don't think she needs me right now. She needs a doctor. You're right. If I show up, it will only make her feel that crying is useful. If I don't show up this time, she might understand that suicide is useless. Have you thought it through? Baya asked. I'll give her the best environment for treatment, and I won't restrict her freedom. If necessary, I'll cooperate with the psychologist. Didn't you say that there's a very outstanding senior last time? I want to hire him, Gu Lingqing said after careful consideration. Don't make a decision yet. Many factors will influence your thoughts now. Morning is the time when you're the most rational and emotional. You can tell me after you think it over. Baya softened his tone. Okay. Gu Lingqing drove away. He listened to Baya and checked into a hotel nearby. Baya's estimation was right. They had only slept for 5 hours. At 5 o'clock in the morning, as soon as Zhou Hailan woke up, he called. Ah Qing, where are you? I'm so scared. I want to see you so much. I lost too much blood yesterday and fainted. Auntie said that you came to see me. Did you come? Why are you leaving now that you're here? Zhou Hailan sobbed. Gu Lingqing frowned and kept silent. Baya took Gu Lingqing's phone and said gently, Zhou Hailan, it's still early. Sleep a little longer. I'll come to the hospital with Gu Lingqing to see you in the morning. Who are you? I don't want you to see me. I want Ah Qing. Zhou Hailan's voice became sharp. I'm Gu Lingqing's wife. Don't worry. Lingqing and I will take care of you. Who needs you to take care of me? Gu Lingqing is mine. I'm Gu Lingqing's fiancé. Who do you think you are? First come, first served. I've already agreed to Ah Qing's proposal before the accident. Let him answer the phone. Let him answer the phone. Zhou Hailan shouted. He's resting. I'm sorry. Baya hung up the phone. I think I owe her a breakup, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Baya saw the hesitation and sadness in his eyes. It's not nice to break up now. Let's take care of her together. I'll go out and buy breakfast and send it to her. Baya got up from the bed. Gu Lingqing hugged Baya from behind. Thank you for your understanding and tolerance. Baya held Gu Lingqing's hand. You're repaying your debt, not making a mistake. You're not being considerate and forgiving. You're doing what you should do, as long as I'm in your heart. Baya paused for a moment before continuing. If one day, you discover that Zhou Hailan is in your heart, I hope that you can completely let me go. If I didn't have you in my heart, I wouldn't have shamelessly asked the Civil Affairs Bureau to add us to the list. I understand my feelings very well, and it won't change for the rest of my life. Gu Lingqing said affirmatively. Baya's eyes reddened. Countless scenes flashed through her mind. After so many twists and turns, she and Gu Lingqing had been separated for 3 years and then another 3 years. Now they could finally be together. She had a feeling that she had finally achieved the right result after going through so many hardships. Life perhaps was like this. It was filled with surprise, helplessness, sadness, heartache, melancholy, tears, joy, smiles and longing. A warm liquid flowed down her cheeks. Gu Lingqing wiped her tears. Silly girl, why are you crying? When I'm sad, I cry. When I'm angry and wronged, I want to separate. I want to live alone. I feel that it's better to live a carefree life alone. But when I calm down, I start to miss it. Freedom and loneliness sometimes complement each other. I think I should never give up on you, Baya confessed. I know. I've been to America to see you a few times. You'd be in a daze for a long time when you saw people in military uniforms. At that time I would also think self-righteously. Are you thinking of me? Gu Lingqing said gently. Baya's tears flowed even more fiercely. She was indeed thinking of him, but she covered her heart with coldness and replaced her passion with alienation. We'll be fine in the future, Baya said, choking with sobs. Gu Lingqing kissed her forehead. We'll be fine in the future. Baya lowered her eyes and secretly made up her mind. Both she and Gu Lingqing liked children very much. With children, it would be a complete family. Gu Lingqing was 33 this year, and she was 28. It was the age to have children. Chapter 225. Baya and Gu Lingqing went to have breakfast together. Baya bought 2 steamed buns and a bowl of soybean milk. After thinking for a while, she added a bowl of steamed buns and a bowl of steamed buns. Why did you buy so much? Gu Lingqing asked confusedly. Your mother might still be here. We bought it for Zhou Hailan. It's not good if we don't buy it for your mother, Baya said softly. Gu Lingqing looked at her with gentle eyes. Actually, you're gentle, considerate, and generous. My mother is prejudiced against you. Otherwise, you two would definitely get along well. Gu Lingqing sighed. It's God's will. It doesn't matter. I'll do what I should. It's her business whether she accepts it or not. Let's go. Otherwise, the breakfast won't taste good when it's cold. Baya walked out of the door first. Gu Lingqing drove. On the way, her nerves were tense. Unconsciously, she followed Gu Lingqing to the door of the ward. Gu Lingqing knocked on the door and pushed it open. Zhou Hailan was squatting on the bed with her body curled up. When she saw Gu Lingqing, she quickly got off the bed. Without wearing her shoes, she ran to Gu Lingqing and said pitifully with a crying voice, Ah Qing, you're finally here. I've been waiting for you for a long time. Baya took a deep breath and walked in, standing next to Gu Lingqing. When Zhou Hailan saw Baya, she widened her eyes and said angrily, Why are you here? You're not welcome here. She pushed Baya with great force. Baya fell backward. Gu Lingqing was quick to react. She held Baya's waist and protected her behind her, standing in front of Zhou Hailan. I brought Baya here. If she leaves, I'll leave too. Zhou Hailan was injured. He looked at Gu Lingqing in disbelief. There was a lot of accusation in his eyes. He pursed his lips tightly. Hearing that, Song Shiyu grabbed Zhou Hailan's arm and scolded Gu Lingqing. Are you a human being? If you bring her, you don't have to come. Let's go. Gu Lingqing fixed his eyes on Song Shiyu and made a decision in 3 seconds. He held Baya's hand and turned around. Don't go, Zhou Hailan pleaded. Gu Lingqing stopped and looked at Zhou Hailan. If you leave, I will die, Zhou Hailan said pitifully. Gu Lingqing remained silent. If you die, you will have nothing. The person you love will not have either. Are you sure you want to die? Baya asked. As soon as he said that, Song Shiyu glared at Baya. Shut up. You have no right to speak here. Gu Lingqing's eyes were filled with annoyance. He pulled Baya and left. Zhou Hailan dashed over and hugged Gu Lingqing's waist. It's okay. It's okay even if you bring someone here. I know that I'm ugly now and I'm not good enough for you. But I beg you don't go. Gu Lingqing looked ahead with his pitch-black eyes. Baya and I are husband and wife. I know that you're already married. Zhou Hailan's face was buried in Gu Lingqing's back. He cried. Treat me like a sister and treat my illness. Maybe when I recover and become a normal person, I can find my own happiness. Gu Lingqing glanced at Zhou Hailan. Zhou Hailan stood behind him. He couldn't see her expression. Zhou Hailon continued, "But for now don't leave me. Don't abandon me. I will accept treatment. I don't ask for much. You just have to visit me once a day. No, 3 times a week is enough." "Hailon, why do you have to be so aggrieved?" Song Shiyu said in a low voice. Zhou Hailon let go of Gu Lingqing and looked at the bandage on his wrist. "Gu Lingqing is already married. I disappeared for 8 years and now I'm like this. I can't even take care of myself. It's normal that Gu Lingqing doesn't want me. If you want to hate, then hate your fate. Miss Bai, don't you want to give them some time to get along? Hailon is already willing to be a sister." Song Shiyu hated Baiya even more now. Baiya looked at Gu Lingqing. "I'll wait for you outside." She placed the breakfast on the dining table and turned to leave. Gu Lingqing frowned as he watched Baiya leave. There was a sense of pity and guilt in his eyes. Baiya said that she couldn't tolerate a grain of sand in her eyes. Gu Lingqing took a step towards Baiya. Song Shiyu stood in front of Gu Lingqing and said earnestly, "Now, Hailon is willing to be a sister. Do you really have to be so heartless? You gave all the love between a man and a woman to Baiya, so you should at least give some pity to Zhou Hailon. She really didn't do anything wrong. She really didn't do anything wrong." "It's okay, Auntie. Let him go," Zhou Hailon said gently. Gu Lingqing glanced at Zhou Hailon and walked towards the door. Zhou Hailon closed his eyes and staggered a couple of steps. "Hailon!" Song Shiyu cried out in alarm. Gu Lingqing turned around unconsciously. Zhou Hailon had fainted in his arms. Gu Lingqing frowned and said to Song Shiyu, "Call the doctor." Song Shiyu walked out of the door. She didn't go to the doctor. Instead, she called Baiya. "Where are you?" Baiya felt that Song Shiyu couldn't have asked for anything good. "Does where I am have anything to do with you?" "Baiya, why do you have to be a bad person? I want Zhou Hailon to be my daughter-in-law. Lingqing's father also wants Zhou Hailon to be his daughter-in-law. As long as you're not around, Lingqing will definitely fall in love with Zhou Hailon again. Why do you have to get involved and make it impossible for the two lovers to be together?" Song Shiyu asked coldly. "Madam, do you know what love is?" Baiya asked. Song Shiyu paused. "I've eaten more salt than you've crossed bridges. I don't need you to teach me what love is. In your eyes, love is what other people think is suitable or not. To put it bluntly, you're looking for a woman who is suitable for Gu Lingqing's future. If one day, Gu Lingqing finally becomes the most successful man, but he finds out that he doesn't love his wife. Because of his status, he can't leave his wife. He has no love in his life. When he dies, he will leave with regrets. Are you sure you want to give your son these things? Are you sure? There are some things I think I should remind you. If you use a woman's power to get to the top, you will be afraid of the woman's power and lose your freedom. If you rely on your own ability to get to the top, you won't have any weaknesses or uncertainties in other people's hands. I know you love your son. It's because of this love that I don't want to be rude to you. But I think your values have deviated. Happiness is not only about status, but also about warmth." Baiya said confidently, neither humble nor pushy. Song Shiyu was a little absent-minded. She thought of Gu Tianhang. Her mood changed subtly. Baiya's words touched the softest spot in her heart. Gu Tianhang married her not because he loved her, but because she was suitable. Chapter 226. Did she really want her son to follow in his father's footsteps? Was a marriage without love a happy ending? Did she feel happy right now? No, what she felt now was coldness. It was the despair of marriage and life. Song Shiyu suddenly couldn't figure it out. She hung up the phone and went to call the doctor. She followed the doctor to the ward. The doctor opened Zhou Hailon's eyes and she woke up. She held Gu Lingqing's hand and begged weakly, "Don't go." The doctor looked at Gu Lingqing. The patient's physique is very poor. Because of the massive blood loss, her blood sugar is very low. In addition, she already has mental problems. Don't agitate her. Gu Lingqing looked at Zhou Hailon. Zhou Hailon smiled. I'm sorry to make you worry. I'm a little hungry now. What breakfast did you and your wife bring? I want to eat it now. Is that okay? Gu Lingqing untied the plastic bag and opened one of the boxes of soup dumplings. Then, he handed the chopsticks to Zhou Hailon. Why did you buy so many? Do you think I'm a pig? Zhou Hailon said with a bitter smile. Xiaoya also bought my mother's. Gu Lingqing said with a deep voice. Then, he moved Zhou Hailon's bed so that she could sit. Sister Xiaoya is really considerate, Zhou Hailon said softly. She's younger than you, but she's more mature. He put a box of soup dumplings on the dining table on the bed. Song Shiyu frowned and looked down. Gu Lingqing took a pair of chopsticks and gave them to Song Shiyu. You eat some too. You've been busy since yesterday. You must be hungry. Song Shiyu took a chair and sat down in front of the bedside table to eat. Zhou Hailon was eating the soup dumplings obediently. From time to time, she would look at Gu Lingqing helplessly. Then, she would lower her head and eat the soup dumplings carefully, as if she was afraid of making Gu Lingqing unhappy. Gu Lingqing picked up her phone and glanced at the time. She turned around and walked towards the door. Zhou Hailon paused with his chopsticks. A sinister gleam flashed across his eyes. It seemed that the situation had already gone out of her control and had become out of hand. Where are you? Gu Lingqing called by Ya the moment he left the house. I'm strolling in the garden behind the hospital. Baya smiled. I'm coming to find you now. After saying that, Gu Lingqing hung up the phone and walked to the elevator quickly. Baya sat alone on a chair in the garden, thinking about psychological problems. Most people with psychological problems don't know that they have psychological problems. Even if they know that they have psychological problems, they can't control themselves when they act up. Just like her, she only knew that her illness was acting up after her illness acted up. But Zhou Hailon was different. She knew what she was doing and the purpose of every step she took. She was more organized. She even knew when to compromise and when to say what to say. She could control her emotions very well. This was not normal. She changed too quickly. In the right environment and the right situation, she could make reasonable adaptations. These were more like ordinary people. They were very smart ordinary people. She closed her eyes and thought that she was Zhou Hailon. Zhou Hailon's node was Gu Lingqing. She loved Gu Lingqing deeply. She couldn't leave Gu Lingqing. There was only Gu Lingqing. She relied on him. She felt very inferior and was afraid of being abandoned. Then, she would put all her vigilance on the women around Gu Lingqing. As long as a woman appeared, she would collapse hysterically. She would do abnormal behaviors that were different from ordinary people. Most of their expressions were crazy and irrational. They were easily stimulated. Their emotions were more intense, and their behaviors were not controllable. But after she appeared, Zhou Hailon didn't. She committed suicide in the middle of the night because Gu Lingqing wouldn't go. This was something that a mentally ill person could do. However, when she saw that Gu Lingqing said that he was married and wanted to follow her, she began to say that she was willing to be his sister and was willing to cooperate with the treatment. She began to play the pity card. This was not in line with the special characteristics of a mental patient. She suspected that Zhou Hailon was pretending to be mentally ill, just like she suspected that Zhou Hailon was the mole. However, Gu Lingqing also said that they had cooperated on several missions and they were all successful. This was obviously a clear agreement for Zhou Hailon. What went wrong? A dark shadow shrouded her in front of her. Baya looked up and saw Gu Lingqing. What are you thinking about? You're all meditating, Gu Lingqing asked and sat down next to Baya. I'm just thinking about it. I have nothing to do anyway. How is Zhou Hailon? Baya glanced at Gu Lingqing and asked. She's fine. She fainted just now, but she woke up again. She was having breakfast when I left. I think her emotions are much more stable now. Gu Lingqing was obviously relieved. Baya smiled. What does the witness that you rescued do? To put it simply, he's like a messenger from Country S. He came to Country A with important resources. If something happens to him in Country A, Country S will misunderstand Country A and they won't have the resources. Therefore, the terrorist organization captured him to cause conflict between Country S and Country A and restrict the development of Country A. Gu Lingqing explained. Then why didn't the terrorist organization kill the politician and give you time to rescue him? Baya asked. I guess they want the resources from Country S. That's why they didn't kill the politician for the time being. To be more specific, since our mission is to rescue the politician, we didn't ask about anything else. By the way, speaking of this, I want to visit General Kai Qingyun soon. Kai Qingyun? Who is he? Baya didn't know these people. He used to be my chief. Because I lost part of my memory, I don't remember part of the mission. I should have been drugged by the enemy during the mission, so I had sex with you. I think there should be someone who knows. Maybe they can find out about our child. Moreover, General Kai Qingyun's hometown, Jinyuan, is not far from Jinyang City. It's about a 2-hour drive. Jinyuan City. Baya's heart skipped a beat. That was where Gu Lingqing met with an accident. A thought flashed across Baya's mind. Is your chief also Zhou Heilan's chief? Yes. Back then, Zhou Hailan, Su Haoran, and I were from the same military region, Gu Lingqing explained. Can you bring me along when you visit General Kai Qingyun in Jinyuan City? Baya asked. Gu Lingqing held her hand. Do you want to go? Baya nodded. I want to go. If I go to LV Xingzhou's house as a tutor, I said that I don't have to go on Saturday and Sunday. Okay. I'll look for you when I go. Let's go together. Gu Lingqing smiled and hugged Baya. Baya leaned on him and looked at the blue sky. If only they could find their child. Perhaps, Gu Lingqing's parents wouldn't object to it. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.